New York Jets guy there. What time is it you want them to start the game? Just tell me. Give me what time you think the game should start. Please. Because there's a 6-hour time. You don't understand there's a time difference. You don't. Because if you want it when people are off of work, that's 5, 6 o'clock Eastern. That means the game would start at midnight in Italy. You simply don't understand the time difference. You're not close.
As it was, the hockey game was in early prime time in Italy. So was the women's figure skating final.
Yeah, no more Olympic highlights coming on the thing.
Oh, why?
We got flagged yesterday. The whole YouTube got taken down for 40 seconds of a highlight.
Gotcha.
So I had to edit it out and put it back up. And well, the men's hockey on Sunday starts at 8:30 in the morning, and Canada's game starts at 10:40 today. This is played in Europe. They're not accommodating to U.S. fans. Sorry.
I mean, think about so 3 p.m. here would be 9 p.m. there.
And the U.S. game today starts at 1, right?
Well, listen, we've been playing. The men's hockey team played.
But today they play at 1.
Right, but the whole tournament we've been playing at 3. We've been playing at 9, dropping the puck at 9, 10 p.m. in Italy, and the U.S. team wasn't happy about it.
Or the end of ESPN as we know it, Paula. It just depends on your perspective. I mean, as long as they get Caitlin Clark on every Sunday night, they'll be fine. But good luck with the soccer.
I was going to say, that'll be interesting. I think they're doing it because I don't know what they can get their hands on.
I saw somebody make a great point that because they're going to have hockey in the spring, but it's like, why not do college baseball? The numbers of the college baseball World Series are every bit as good as NHL games.
Oh,
do Sunday night college baseball.
Hell, are they going to do college softball then on Sundays?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Friday. What a fun week it has been. Hope you've had a good week, and thanks for spending some of it with us. The heck are you? Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. We got a lot going on today. They're kicking you out.
I'm out. This will for sure be my last show from the Moffitt Cancer Center. I am being discharged. It could be as early as today. I have to find arrangements for some place to stay today. If not, I will stay here one more night and check out of the hospital tomorrow. But everything has gone very well. It's called engrafting when the new cells take hold. That is happening. My counts are jumping rapidly. They said it could happen yesterday. They said probably Saturday, but maybe tomorrow. And my counts went through the roof overnight. So, yeah, I'm out. I'm done with this place. Get me the hell out of here. I get to eat real food very soon.
Wow. Now there are limitations, though, right?
There are limitations, but David, the limitations are still better than what I'm getting here.
Well, I know that. I know that. We joked, and we weren't joking when we said, yeah, the whole cancer chemo thing's going to be interesting. And by interesting, we mean it could be difficult. But the most difficult thing for you is going to be the food.
Yeah. I mean, the wife's brought me Ben and Jerry's a couple of times. Both Ben and Jerry have helped out immensely. The Girl Scout cookies were amazing. These 6 or 7 Heath bars she brought me have been wonderful. And I've eaten because you have to eat. I mean, they have been very, I have listened to every word that the nurses have said. I have done exactly what they have told me from day one. And they were big on, you got to eat. So you find a couple of things that are, that are good or tolerable. And you go from there. So, it's going to be difficult because I can go to restaurants, but they don't want me in restaurants at prime time, if you know what I mean, because I've still got to mask up everywhere I go. My immune system is still not there yet. We've still got a long way to go, but I can eat out. I can eat in restaurants. There are limitations of what I can and can't eat. This would be fine for you, David, because drive-throughs are acceptable.
Oh my goodness. And it's over. I'm done. I'm 100%.
But there's like little things. I can't, I've had Five Guys a couple of times. I've had people that have brought me food. Like I can't have a Five Guys with ketchup, mustard, pickles, and onions. I can't have the pickles. I can't have anything that's basically on the line, if you know what I mean.
So
anything that multiple people are getting because they could be bacteria. So I've got to get a plain burger and get packets of ketchup and packets of mustard that are unopened. Just, little things like that. So it's just, you have to pay attention. There's a little Lebanese place close to here that's phenomenal that our friend turned me on to. I can't go there. I can't eat that. That
but
doesn't work.
You can pick it up.
No, because everything's on a line. Everything's, it's shaved meat. No.
Right.
So I probably won't be able to have a steak because they want me to have all the meat at 145 degrees. And what's the point of eating a steak medium well? I know some of you do, but you all eat it wrong. So I probably won't have a steak for another 6 months. They're just limitations. But again, let's see, living or food limitations. I'm going to go with A.
I like it. I'm going
to go with A.
Good choice. Rick, do you like the choice, living versus food limitations? Where are you on that?
Brilliant, Mark. I couldn't have advised you any better than that.
See, yeah, there you go. Absolutely. It's unanimous this morning. It's a good start for us. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Well, since we had a good start, David, I need to apologize to you.
Wait. What are you? Do you need to lay down? Are you sure all the levels are rising?
No, everything's fine. But I was texting about you last night with our former producers, our two hoop heads, Felipe and Trent.
Oh, the young former producers.
Yeah, the young former producers.
Right, not the middle-aged guy married, 2 kids.
Who hates everything. Yeah,
right, mortgage, right.
The 2 kids with a lot of hope and
right.
A great outlook on life and things like that.
Right, they're very positive still. So those 2, okay.
But they're big hoop heads. And last night, I'm watching Knicks and Pistons on Amazon.
Pistons whacking them again.
They did. But this is early. The game has just started. And I said, I really hate to say this because I said to the boy, I said, he doesn't hate my teams. I hate his team. I hate the Knicks. I hate the Rangers. I don't care for the Mets that much anymore. And the Giants don't really matter to me because they suck. But I realize, and it's not even the Knicks players that bother me. It's the Knicks fans.
Okay.
It's the media and the way they treat the Knicks like they're the Lakers or Celtics. I despise that team. And you know how much I loved Bernard King back in the day.
I was going to say, this is shocking. I know you love number 30 coming off the left wing.
Yeah, okay. I loved him. But I just, man, oh man, you watch a game and, they're getting whacked by the Pistons. And what are the announcers talking about? The Knicks.
Right. Oh, yeah. Remember, I said it last year when they got by the Celtics, and I said, man, ESPN especially, they are just making the Knicks unlikable.
Well, and I didn't like, I don't want to get political, but I didn't like Spike Lee's move at the All-Star game. You've got an Israeli player and he wears the whole pro-Palestine suit. It's like, come on. Are you serious right now and sitting in the front row? You're an ass. I'm
Right.
sorry, you're an ass for that. So I said to both of them, and it was I was stunned. Well, not that stunned because Trent hates everything that's not Detroit. But and Felipe being the Heat fan, boy,
Right. So
did they jumped on board quickly.
Sure. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they just piled on.
Right. I
So,
get it.
So I'm sorry because I don't like your teams and you don't dislike my teams. It's not that you're rooting for my teams, but you have nothing against the teams that I root for.
No.
And I don't like your teams.
No, I'm down. There's like one team, and I don't really hate them anymore because, I really like their current coach, Patrick Waugh. I mean, the only team that really bothered me growing up was the Islanders. Okay, because obviously they got in the way of the Rangers winning the Cup.
Yes, and they did.
Yes, their dynasty crushed they went through the Rangers for those 4 cups. They went through the Rangers 3 times. Okay, and yeah, but the Knicks to me are the Cowboys.
They really are.
Knicks fans are the Cowboys. Only it's 20 years longer.
Or the Leafs. I mean, if you we're hockey guys, they're kind of the Leafs too.
Right, but I don't think a lot of people can fully understand and relate to Leafs fans in the drought. Okay, but
I understand, but it gave me an opportunity to take a shot at the Leafs this morning, David.
No, I know that. No, while you're going after New York, now you get to go after Canada too.
Right.
So this is double-barreled right now. Yes, I understand. But the Knicks, in a sense, are worse because the Cowboys, it's been 30 years. For the Knicks, it's been 50. 50. I mean, and they still love their team. I get it. But, God, 50 years. How about a little humility? I mean, seriously, last year's the first year in 25 years you made a conference final? Seriously? And you're acting the way you do? Stop it. Try the humble. Even Yankee fans in 96 were humble. Okay, they were. It had been 18 years since they had won. And the Yankee fans in 96 were grateful. Okay, they were humble. They were thrilled. Now, as soon as that World Series was over, they went back to being the Yankee fans again. But they were just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. We're here. And even when they were down 2-0, they're like, I don't care. We're in the World Series. This is amazing. I mean, try that approach.
Would be nice. That's all.
Yeah, total.
That's
but
all.
The media is to blame. Just like
yes.
What does the NFL media always do? For the first
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Enough already. No.
So I apologize because it dawned on me last night when I was watching that. I'm like, I don't think I like them, and I don't think I like them at all.
Wow. And it's a shame because there's some guys on this team that are very likable.
And very fun. I mean, Brunson's great. He really is. He's fun to watch play. I understand. But it's the outside noise
totally
that creates the animosity towards the team. And it shouldn't be that way, but that's just the way that it is.
All right. Here's how I know I've gotten soft. So it's like 15, 20 minutes after we've scored the golden goal. Okay, and the women have won the gold against Canada. And so they're handing out the medals, bronze first, silver. And so the Canadian players, and they're crushed. They're devastated. They want no part of this medal. They don't want it. They don't want to put it over my head.
Not one of them smiling when they're getting it.
No.
I mean, they're doing everything they can to get the corners of their lips to just go parallel with the ground, if you know what I mean.
Some are still crying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my goodness, no, come on. No, do we have to zero in on this? We got it. They're going to put the medals around 24 necks. We got it. All right, you showed me the first 5. I don't need to see the next 19. Look at them. They're miserable. I know I'm 40 years older than them, but I want to give them a hug. Look at them. They're crushed. They're ruined. Okay, stop zeroing in on them. Show me something. Show me the Americans giddy. Something. Show me some highlights. Please stop it.
And they just stuck right with it.
Every single one. Then,
every single girl.
And after giving them the silver medals, what do they go back to the front of the line and give them? A teddy bear or whatever the hell it is.
Would have liked to seen one of those Canadian gals rip the head of the bear off or whatever the stuffed animal was and throw it back at him. Yes.
Totally. And then they're like, and we have to stand here and watch you give all the stuff that we wanted to the Americans, and then we got to sit here and listen to their song? They were devastated.
And David, I thought they outplayed the Americans. I thought they were better. The U.S. team did not get. I mean, they had the shots were even, but the U.S. was firing perimeter shots. They weren't getting to those grade A scoring chances. They weren't getting to the dirty areas that you got to score. Canada did a terrific job of limiting the U.S. for 58 damn minutes.
Yep. I think the U.S. team's better, but you're right. Canada outplayed them.
Yeah, there's no doubt that but yesterday the U.S. team played nervous. They played a little uptight.
Yep.
They're dumping and chasing in a sport when you can't forecheck. That's tough to do.
Right. Tough to get the puck back. Yep. But anyway, I know I'm going soft. Okay. We win the gold against our arch rivals, and I'm feeling bad for them and wanting to hug them. What's wrong with me?
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
This is Miller and Moulton.
And we will cover it today, Paula. We have someone on from the Indiana perspective. I do got to get a little Purdue talk in with him too. I saw the guy on that video. God, that's funny. The AAU take the Purdue guy about
tell me that's not perfect.
It's perfect. The best shoes. They all got their names on the back of the jersey. That's funny.
Paula, in all seriousness, why in the world did you want to see I get their rivals. I get it. You don't like them, but who the hell wants to see the Bears in Hammond, Indiana? I mean, come on. I mean, the Chicago Bears.
Right. It's a joke.
The Chicago Bears. There's two. If it's McDonald's, I go with the number 7. It's the 2 sausage burritos because they go down quick with the hash brown. But believe it or not, my favorite is the Burger King on the croissant, the ham, egg, and cheese. That's my favorite. And it's a greasy mess.
My favorite is Chick-fil-A, and then my second favorite would be Chick-fil-A.
Gotcha. The Burger King, I mean, your arteries are hardening as you're placing the order at Burger King. And you can just feel it. Yes, croissant. It's the 4 years of French I took.
Very good. What idiots we were.
Oh my goodness, I had the choice. I'll never forget. I was standing. I remember exactly where I was when I made the choice of French over Spanish.
Morons.
Golly, idiot. The burrito at BK is huge.
The daughter has Spanish. I don't know how many days a week. They have quite a bit of Spanish at her school, which I'm very happy with. You know, she had it last year too. So I think they start. I don't know when they started, but at that school. But that's was always my complaint about the public schools. Like, really, we can't be teaching them Spanish in elementary school. We're going to do art. Okay, that makes sense.
Can I be the a-hole for a second? Is that okay? Can I?
Yeah.
Can I? So how many days a week do they do English? Hello.
Every.
Okay, just making sure.
Every.
Just making sure.
I will say this school versus the other one, the grammar, they drill down on them. I mean, it is so good.
It is the best thing my mother did for me, education-wise, growing up. For whatever reason, I think 7th grade, I struggled one semester. I got a C in English, and my mother made me, for the rest of my days, bring the grammar book home.
I wish I would have had that. You know, my mom gets mad at me when I give her a hard time about it. You guys didn't care. You didn't?
They were too busy fighting.
And it's funny because my dad probably had much better grammar than my mom, with his dad being the newspaper writer. And my grandma on that side was a nurse. She was a very well-educated woman. They were very proper with, you know, that stuff. My mom's side, no. They didn't care. Whose party got on Saturday? That's what.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Full show lined up for you. Our baseball team we're going to check in on today is the Braves with Sam Peebles. That's coming up next hour. It's a Friday, so Pat Kirwan's going to join us. But we're heading out to Indiana in a couple hours. We want to get the Indiana perspective on the Bears. You guys want the Bears? How much? I mean, how much do the people of Indiana? Because let me tell you, the politicians want them. I mean, they're unanimous votes in the legislature, and I mean, the governor.
This is just a middle finger at the entire state of Illinois right now.
Oh my goodness! The governor has streamlined 1.5 years worth of paperwork and what have you into 3 days. I mean, it's done. But I mean, I'm just trying to get a feel for, you know, the people, the peeps. You know, I've always been about the peeps. So we're going to head to Indiana and we're going to see if the sports fans really want the Bears Or will they even consider them part Indiana if it's in the northwestern part? And I don't know, is it like 3/4 of a mile from the Illinois border? I mean, it seems as if it's going to be really close.
Right. The Chicago Bears playing where? Indiana.
Indiana, hello.
Now, let me just ask you on that note, though. Obviously, both New York football teams play in
Right.
New Jersey.
Yep.
Everybody's used to it now.
Yes.
It's been such a long time that no one cares anymore.
Right.
When it happened,
Mm-hmm.
you're a Jersey guy, so I know you didn't care. But I would have to think the New Yorker had to be pretty honked off about the New York Giants moving to New Jersey.
Okay, I've been thinking a lot about this because of the Bears story, and I knew you were going to go there. So first off, it was the mid-'70s. Okay, you've got, and this is important to remember. One, our economy is really just beginning to tank. Two, New York City was a financial mess. It
And a
was
cesspool at that time, too. I mean,
well,
really was.
yes, it was beginning.
It was getting there.
It was beginning to become a cesspool, but financially, the city was broke. Okay, there are newspaper headlines that say that. Okay, the city was broke. The government was going to have to come in and run New York City. And so also remember, where did the Giants play? In Yankee Stadium. The Giants were the second tenant. The NFL was not the most popular sport in the country. Not even close.
Wasn't close.
It was baseball. And the Yankees, you're the second tenant, you're the little brother to the Yankees. So the situations are not even close in all those areas. The situations are not even close. And with that, people were still like, wait a minute, what are we doing? But they didn't have the money. They didn't. And they had committed the money, what money they had just committed to refurbishing Yankee Stadium, which they were shutting down for 2 years. 74 and 75. The Yankees played at Shea. The Giants went to the Yale Bowl in Connecticut. Okay, they shut that stadium down for 2 years. And they took the pillars out and, made it nicer. And they did a great job, by the way. It's much nicer what they did with Yankee Stadium for the last 33 years of its existence. It was a much nicer stadium. And I was in the original Yankee Stadium, sat next to a pillar, actually. Okay, it was much nicer than the original. The refurbishing was great. But there were a lot of financial and social differences then than now.
And
there were
pro sports
people.
didn't matter then the way they matter now.
No.
The cities too. I mean, they it's a different world. It truly is.
They didn't. The other thing was that, and this helped, the Giants had one winning season for 10 years. When this was beginning to go down, the Giants were not a good franchise. But so, yeah, were people been out of shape? They were, but quite frankly, they couldn't do anything for the Giants. And the Giants said, we'll do it ourselves. Okay, it's not going to cost you a dime. And by the way, we're right across the bridge. Okay, and they are. I mean, mileage-wise, Yankee Stadium to Giants Stadium, I think, was less than 15 miles. Now, with traffic, it could be an hour and a half, but it was still a thing. It was still a thing. But a lot of people financially understood it. They did. I mean, New York City didn't have a dime.
But this one, man, it doesn't, from where I sit, and I'm not a Chicago native. I've been to the city one time in my life, had a great time many, many years ago. But the Bears.
I know. I know.
And even though, when we talk about the NFL and Roselle being able to get done what he got done in the 60s, it was because of two owners, the Bears owner and the Giants owner.
Right. Mostly the Giants, but if Hallis doesn't go along with it, it ain't happening.
Right. I mean, it wasn't, no one cared about the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Green Bay Packers when it came to a national TV deal. It was the Bears and the Giants that had their opportunities to get local deals that would have disrupted what Roselle ended up doing.
And by the way, think about it. Old man Hallis was cheap. Okay. Notoriously cheap. All right. And yet he still went along with it. Okay. I mean, you can't thank Wellington Mara and George Hallis enough. You just can't.
So it just seems so weird.
First off, here's the part that's not really being reported yesterday. So when yesterday morning was happening, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, look at this thing that Indiana's done. Oh, look at the Bears. They're going, oh, and well, of course they did what they did. I mean, they're negotiating with the state of Illinois, and the state of Illinois was about ready to pass a bill, and they canceled the vote yesterday morning. Yeah, you know why they canceled the vote? The Bears asked them to. Okay, they spent 3 hours negotiating with the Bears on Wednesday. Okay, they were going to send the bill to the floor yesterday. Bears called them up first thing in the morning and said, "It's a couple I's and T's we want to change. Could you just hold off for a day?" And Illinois went, "Yeah, sure, whatever you want." Okay, and then an hour later, the press release out of Indiana.
And, is this what's his face there working both sides? The Big Ten commissioner, Warren.
Oh,
right?
Warren.
He's working both sides here to his demise, I think, when it's all said and done. I don't see this sitting well.
Well, it'll be interesting here. Is the fan base going to blame the Bears ownership, or are they going to blame the state of Illinois?
I think at this moment in time, it might be Illinois. And David, here's why. The Bears were good last year. And I'm not messing around when I say that. If the Bears would have stunk again last year and been what they've been for the last 20 years as a, mediocre franchise. They've had a couple of good years, I get it. But the Bears haven't been relevant in a while. I do think the fact that they're coming off a terrific year, a hot young coach, a hot young quarterback,
right?
I think that helps shape public opinion a lot, David.
Might be right.
And come on, who likes Illinois government right now? And I mean, come on, they're a Chicago government, Illinois government's been a punching bag in this country for a while.
Right. Although not necessarily in the state of Illinois. Okay. But yes, to the rest of the
nationally,
country.
right.
Right. But to me, I'm very curious where Bear fans are, because when the governor of Illinois came out yesterday at lunchtime and said we were going to pass our bill today, they told us not to submit it today. So we didn't. And an hour later, they're sending out a release about Indiana passing SB 27. And Pritzker was like, we spent 3 hours with them yesterday. We gave them almost everything they wanted.
We know there's a lot of you Bears fans that are listening, particularly in our Southwest Florida market. 21,000 is the text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, 21,000. If you've never texted before, the keyword's Miller. Love to hear from the Bears fan to get what you're thinking right now about the possibility of a storied NFL franchise moving from Chicago to Indiana.
Hello.
Great guest list lined up. We'll talk some Braves, we'll talk some NFL, and we'll talk about this Bear situation. But when we come back, we do this little thing called the Starting Five. It's next on Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. Your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get you one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and
Your
tourism.
roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you see that the women's U.S. head coach was the head coach of the Gwinnett Gladiators?
Really? I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Saw something on X last night in which I guess the Stingrays and the Gladiators played a 4 overtime playoff game back in 2012, and he was the coach of the Gladiators. Oh, Paula, you didn't hear? ESPN made an announcement that yesterday that they're replaced because they lost Sunday Night Baseball. NBC has it. They're replacing Sunday Night Baseball with what? Women's Sports Sunday?
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling it?
That might not. I want to get the name right because we're definitely talking about it today.
Totally.
Women's Sports Sundays. Yeah, I have daughter. I have a daughter, Paula. My daughter doesn't watch women's. She doesn't watch sports on TV. She does gymnastics, and my wife has to beg her to sit down and watch gymnastics. You know what my daughter likes to watch from a sports standpoint on TV? Hockey, because they fight. That's it. That's the only sport she will watch with me. Football, can't stand it. Baseball, are you kidding me?
I could be totally off base here. So I think it was the first time your wife and daughter came to visit you during this ordeal.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the second, but you posted a picture on Facebook, and my wife was active on Facebook, and it was the three of you, and your daughter had a Wings jersey on, and I
She did.
looked at my wife and I said, "You have no idea what a statement that is."
She doesn't have any Penguins gear.
Okay, well, whether she did or not, I said, you have no idea. No idea. I said, Mom is not very forgiving if you choose a Detroit franchise over a Pittsburgh franchise in the same sport. I go, but if you just got a bone marrow transplant, the Wings rule the day. And even Mom was okay with it. I said, that's a statement right there.
Dad and son are working the daughter hard on the Red Wings. Hard.
I said to my wife, I go, Dad's at the top of the totem pole these days. Don't you kid yourself.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Sam Peebles, he covers the Braves. We'll go to the beginning to enter the southwestern coast of Florida to talk a little Braves. Man, they got pitching injuries again. Season hasn't even started. Golly.
A lot of that already. Twins, Braves.
So Sam Peebles in an hour. Pat Kirwan, Derek Schultz. It's part of the Indiana Sports Network. Derek Schultz. The Bears? To Hammond, Indiana? The Hammond Bears? I mean, doesn't that sound like a mid-level European soccer team, or Hammond Bears?
What
does that sound like?
And I know in our chat room someone's telling us how close it is to Soldier Field, but maybe I'm wrong. But isn't the money in Chicago on the complete other side of town?
You mean north of Soldier Field?
Correct.
Well, yeah, because downtown is, I know it's kind of sort of downtown, but it's in the southern part of downtown. But then also the suburbs are kind of.
I mean, I remember driving past Comiskey when I went to Chicago, actually going to see a friend in Madison at that time. And Comiskey, if memory serves me right, was not in the nicest part of Chicago.
No.
And by not nicest part, it was in the projects.
South side there, not the north side. No.
Right. I mean,
right.
Anybody else watch Shameless? I don't know.
Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST. Business, sports, and tourism. We'll start with the Olympics. Exciting day for the United States yesterday. Women's hockey team, they hadn't trailed the whole tournament, and they trailed for over half the gold medal game. Down 1-0 late third. They pulled the goalie, and just as the coach drew it up, throw it on net, tip it in. And they did with 2:04 to play to tie it. And then in 3-on-3 overtime, unbelievable. Megan Keller with as beautiful a goal to win a championship as you're probably going to see in the sport.
She undressed that Canadian defensewoman, whatever you want to call it. It was a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal.
Received the long pass down the left wing when Canada was in the middle of a change, one-on-one with the defenseman. She duked her, went in between her legs on her backhand while being checked. She backhands it underneath the blocker of the goalie for the goal. 2-1 U.S. in overtime. It's our third gold medal in women's hockey. Also won a gold in women's figure skating. I don't know about you, Mark. This caught me by surprise. I didn't realize it had been 24 years since a female figure skater had won the gold.
I knew it had been a while, but I didn't realize it had been that long.
And I also didn't realize it had been 20 years since we even had a women's figure skater medal.
And David, this should mean more to you and I than to most people. Because are you aware of what song she skated to?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
MacArthur Park. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, Miller and Moulton find that to be the lyrics of that song to be
horrendous.
Arguably the dumbest lyrics that have ever been on a song.
Never mind a hit song, a number one song.
Correct.
Right.
That was once sung by an actor.
Alyssa Liu, okay, with the gold medal.
She was great.
She was in both programs, by the way. She had a clean short program. It was judged to be a close third, but any of those in the top three, if they win the long program, they win gold. So the fact that she was third didn't matter. If she won the long program, she'd win the gold, and she did with a flawless routine. She was sixth in the Olympics 4 years ago and quit. Mentally, she couldn't handle it. She took a year off. She came back and Voila. Jordan Schultz going for another gold. Had to settle for silver in the 1,500 meters. But a good day for the U.S. We're now second in the medal count with 27, 9 gold, 12 silver, and 6 bronze. As we were saying a moment ago, the Chicago Bears to Indiana? I mean, downtown Chicago's like 30 miles from Indiana. A little less. Not much, though. Like 25. Indiana legislature passed Bill SB 27 to essentially finance a dome stadium and entertainment area in Hammond, Indiana. Hello. That's in northwest Indiana, 25 miles due south of Soldier Field on I-90. If you're Indiana, is just having the Bears enough? I mean, you're not looking for a name change, are you? I mean, the franchise value would be cut in half if you took Chicago off the Bears. But anyway, meanwhile, Illinois yesterday was planning on passing their own bill after 3 hours of negotiations with the Bears on Wednesday. The Bears called them up Thursday morning and said, hey, we want to fine tune this. Could you just wait a day? And Illinois said, okay. And then an hour later, the Indiana bill passed. So Illinois is not happy with the Bears. And obviously the Bears are not happy with Illinois. So is there room for reconciliation? Are they headed for divorce? I feel as if I'm the voice guy setting up the next episode of Soap. Whenever we can get a soap reference, and I'm sorry, I got to take it.
And I'm telling you, that's a over 45-year-old reference.
Yeah, it's late
that
70s.
That was late 70s.
Yep.
There's a couple, I think maybe Tubi it's on. If you've never watched,
oh my goodness,
do it. Just do it. Trust me on this.
That
when we talk about All in the Family doing things that were never done on TV, Soap took that to 11.
Soap is risque today, and they aired that show in the late 70s. Unbelievable. One other NFL note, Lane Johnson missed the second half of the year last year. He says, yeah, I'm coming back. Injury's healing. A Lisfranc injury. I'll be back next year. Because the Eagles may lose their center. He may have to retire from injuries at the age of 27, the kid from Alabama. So the Eagles, and they already lost their offensive line coach. So the Eagles' offensive line, Lane Johnson returning is a big deal. NBA returned last night. 10 games. Orlando began a 4-game West Coast swing by handing the Kings their 15th straight loss. The Magic hit 27 threes. 27 threes. First off, they attempted 50.
Against a team that's tanking and doesn't realize that defense is allowed in the sport. They give up more points than any other team in the league.
Orlando won in Sacramento 131-94. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have blamed Jalen Brunson if after the game last night he just looked into the camera and say, you just got to call the Detroit Pistons our daddy. Because, man, do they own the Knicks. 126-111 at Madison Square. Cade Cunningham, if you're a little unsure, 42 points, 13 assists.
David, he's better than Brunson.
He's more dynamic, for sure.
He's better. I mean, if you're starting a team and you can choose one or the other, you're choosing Cade Cunningham right now. You are. And that's saying something. I'm not taking anything away from Brunson. Cunningham's better.
Yeah, he's a star. He's a star. But people aren't giving the Pistons their due. I mean, they're the best team in the East right now. It ain't close. We'll see if it continues in the spring. Boston went to Golden State. No Steph. Jaylen Brown, triple-double, 23 points, 15 rebounds, 13 assists. Celtics won easily, 121-110. And the Cavs have won 6 in a row. They beat Brooklyn 112-84. Both Boston and Cleveland jumping the Knicks. Knicks dropped from the 2 seed to the 4 seed. yesterday. Houston got 35 from KD in a 105-101 win over Charlotte. Atlanta taking advantage of it, moving ahead of Charlotte for the 9 seed. They beat Philly 117-107. And Chicago can't gain any ground. They lost at home to Toronto 110-101. Spurs have won 7 in a row. They played the game in Austin last night. Beat Phoenix 121-94. Clippers edged the Nuggets in LA 115-114. Benedict Mathurin, who the Clippers had just acquired, scored 38 off the bench last night. It's kind of handy. In a battle of the 2 worst teams in the East, the Wizards beat the Pacers 112-105. A couple of college hoop scores of note. South Florida won their 5th in a row. They won 11 of 13. The 2 losses were both by 1 point. This team, since January 1st, is on a roll. South Florida with a 2-game lead in the American. They beat Memphis 87-66. Liberty remains unbeaten in the Conference USA. They beat FIU in overtime 90-89. Bethune remains in first place in the SWAC. They beat Alabama State 82-71. The second place team in the SWAC is Alabama A&M. They beat FAMU 63-61.
Coming to a play-in game near you.
Yes. And finally, golf. PGA Tour, another signature event that's back-to-back. They're at Riviera, the Genesis Invitational. Tiger's the host. Aaron Ray, a one-shot lead, 6 under through 16. A lot of golfers. There was rain all morning yesterday in SoCal, so a lot of golfers didn't complete their rounds. Ray is a one-shot lead with 2 holes to play. Rory, one of the golfers, tied for second. All right. Do you know who's dead last in the 72-person field? Scotty Scheffler. He's 5 over through 10 holes. Dead last. Once again, he's spotting the field around, and then he's going to see if he can beat them. Batia and Morikawa are 3 under. Hovland, Hideki, and Fleetwood are 2 under. Mark's long shot in his fantasy golf league, Max Homa, 1 under par. And at 10 minutes before the hour, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories you needed to know, courtesy of Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through beautiful spring training or business, sports, and tourism, one or the other, BST. Make it whatever you want. Just think Lee County.
You know, I was one of those, even though I'm in Tampa at Moffett, I was one of those Southwest Floridian TV watchers yesterday. I just watched sports. I went from Olympic hockey to the golf to the NBA, fooling everybody with my final decision.
But you also saw the U.S. women with a dramatic win to advance to the semis. They got a chance to medal.
That's in curling, folks.
Right?
Went to an extra end. It was tied after 10. They went to the 11th. And the beautiful Stone taking the U.S. And, you know, you talked about this, how it's a gentleman's game and the whole thing with Canada and Sweden in the men's and the cheating and the guys saying F you and
right,
bothering people. David, I'm watching it, and it was really close where the Stone ended up. I mean, they've got the overhead shot.
Inches.
And I'm looking at this going, I think we've got it.
Right.
And what did the lady do from the Swiss team?
You
won. Yeah, you won. Looked at it, looked over. I mean, I was shocked they didn't call in the person to measure it. It was that close. And she just looked and she said, no, it's this Stone. Shook her hand. You won.
You won.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. Great sportsmanship.
Yeah,
because it
absolutely.
was close. I mean,
really close.
I mean, I thought we were like 2 inches, 3 inches closer, but it was
David, if
close.
you're playing, are you calling for a measurement? Because I am.
Yeah, I'm waiting for somebody officially to determine who the winner is. Yeah. So, now I'm ready to shake their hand as soon as the person says they won. But yeah, I'm not making that call. No, it was really close.
It was.
I mean, that's like in a big match play golf match where, you know, who's away. And it's important. You know, the match is even. You're in extra holes, you know. I mean,
it's Nicholas giving Jacqueline the putt.
Right.
You know, what I mean, you just don't give that putt.
Right.
I mean, no, make that.
Yep.
So I just thought with the controversy of the Canadian cheaters, I thought this showed everything that the Olympics are about and the sportsmanship that can be there if a game's played properly.
Is that an official minor league team, the Canadian Cheaters? Okay.
Ooh, be a good ECHL team.
I was going to say, you are, man, you are dogging them. You are dogging them. You know they're going to win the gold in men's hockey, right?
We'll see, but probably.
Yeah.
They're the best team.
They are. They are. By the way, officially, the U.S. women won the gold, outscoring everybody 33-2. 33-2.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
At the Diamond District, we believe more is more.
More diamonds, more selection, more fire. You truly can have it all.
During our Diamond event, March 6th through 8th.
Layered bracelets, dazzling earrings, statement rings. Because when it comes to diamonds, more is more.
Then leave drenched in diamonds, March 6th through 8th. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Hey, Southwest Florida, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. For you that haven't tried us yet, you gotta get in here and try my favorite 5 Chicago-style sandwiches. I got the Italian beef, I got the Italian sausage, the sausage and beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, and our soon-to-be famous breaded steak. Call us at either one of our locations in Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced jardiniere.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, Johnny, my favorite fast food is Chick-fil-A. I hate fast food. I was merely making a point.
Right. He never goes to fast food, but if he had to, and he's in a bit of a predicament now, okay, that would be his only place.
I'll be doing these. I don't know what I'm doing for dinner tonight. I may have to try to get a reservation somewhere. Celebrate. Might go to my Italian joint, see if I can get in early.
Or I was going to say, are you going to have to be a snowbird now?
So funny. I was telling my two buddies, my golfing buddies came up on Wednesday, and, you know, Gino's in his 70s. And I'm like, I got it. You know, they want me to go to restaurants. They want me to go early or late. So like 5 o'clock. So what's so different from what I do? The irony, Ryan, about Jimmy the Beef Guy, and I hope I'm not outing him. He's a Packers fan.
Stove Up, you've got to and try to find more than one episode because
Well, I think it's on Tubi. I'm not positive. There's if you Google it, it will Google where I can watch soap, and it's one of the now they give you some commercials because it's a free streaming service. I'm guessing you can probably pay. Not going home. I will be up here until May. I'll be an outpatient, but I may be getting out of the hospital today. Basically, it's more on me if I can get a place to stay tonight. Because the room I booked for Saturday, apparently there are no other rooms at that hotel. But I had to deal with the Hilton reservation guy who was a moron. So I will call the hotel directly after the show. By the way, that article I sent you about Stephen Perry.
Yeah, I read it.
He issued a statement saying
in which he
it's
said not going to happen. Well, he came out and said it's not going to happen. Right? There's been a lot of rumors, and it's not going to happen, which I think is a mistake on his part.
If they are extending the olive branch, he should take it.
Yes, even if he only does a few select shows, and even if it's near.
I mean, they could do a residency at the Sphere for 3 weeks, and I think a lot of people would go, but that's just me.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Now I'd be one of those that I'd have to see that setlist.fm before I'd go, because if it was all new stuff, I'd have no interest. I want to see Wheel in the Sky. I want to see those rock songs before Escape are amazing.
Well, wouldn't they, if he was doing the show, have to play? I mean, I know technically the last album he did with them was what, 96, but I mean, don't you have to play?
No, but I'm just saying Escape they got softer. They were like Chicago. I want to hear some of the rock from the before Escape
Totally.
stuff.
Totally.
Chipotle is kind of a no-no because I can't do things that are basically on a line. I'm a little bummed out about that because I am dying for good Mexican food right now. And I got to figure out what I can and can't do. I did get a clip yesterday of Taxi. What does the yellow light?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Friday. Thanks so much for being with us. Final show of the week and final show for at least a week for one Rick Church. Rick and Raj, they're alternating weeks. And so if you're watching Twitch, YouTube, Jerry Garcia / Michael McDonald will have next week off. And then he'll be back in March. We haven't posted a poll question.
No, but I did want to get to the answers from yesterday's poll questions.
Okay.
Because we had 2, and one I went on a little tangent that it drove me nuts watching the quarterfinal men's hockey, Olympic hockey, and there was a female analyst doing the games. And I'm sorry, there's no need for that. They play a different game than the men. I have no problem watching the women's game. And if it would have been a woman play-by-play instead of Kenny Albert, he did great, by the way. I mean, he had a great call of that goal.
Yes, he did. He said actually both U.S. overtime goals he's nailed.
Nailed. But if it would have been a woman doing play-by-play yesterday, I would have not had a problem with it. And they had a woman analyst. She understands the women's game better than a man does because there are different rules. There is no checking allowed, although, wow, did they let them play in that game.
Yes, they did.
And I think that was an advantage for the U.S. team. But are you okay with female analysts working men's games? And you guys are 55-45. I was a bit surprised by that. But good for you. I'm on the no side. David was on the yes side. And then are you a fan of 3-on-3 overtime in the Olympics? And 63% of you are not. David and I are with you on that. We hate it.
Now, I'm curious how many of you voted before the women won 3-on-3 in overtime on as good a goal as you're going to see also. I mean,
Great goal.
that can't get better. I mean, that was very exciting. Obviously, it's for the gold. I mean, like when the U.S. men beat Sweden, that was in a quarterfinal. I mean, this is for the gold, and it was a beautiful goal.
Sick. It really was. And I am not a huge fan of women's hockey. It's slower. They all seem to skate the same speed. There's not players breaking away. You don't have the McDavid or the Kyle McCarr that can just skate past somebody. But it was a good game. It was a terrific game-winning goal. Terrific.
But I still think we should play 5-on-5 for 10 minutes. I don't like the 3-on-3. Never mind.
I hate it. It's not hockey.
No, it's not.
It's not hockey.
It's not. You got somebody goal hanging. I feel like I'm playing street hockey again. And the team I was on, Dave Martinez, was always goal hanging. And I was the goalie. I'm like, I could use you down here. We're playing 4-on-5. Okay. And he's like, I'm just waiting for you to make a save and get the puck out to me.
So those were our poll questions yesterday. I don't know where we go today. We've got the semifinals coming in hockey late this morning and this afternoon. Canada plays the first game against Finland. I think it's a 10:40 start, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. And we're like, what, 1:30, something like that?
Something like that. But by the way, you watched the quarterfinal game between the U.S. and yesterday. I thought getting $6 million for the Olympic final would be a big number. Based on what the quarterfinal number was, if the U.S. plays Canada Sunday morning, NBC is going to be licking their chops.
What was it? 6.9 million watch the U.S. Sweden men quarterfinal.
Yeah, 6.9 million.
And that was late afternoon on a Wednesday, East Coast time. 6.9 million, which makes you think U.S. and Canada can both win today. I know it's 8:30 Sunday morning Eastern, but
can it do 10?
Yeah, I think it can. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's fascinating. My son lives in North Carolina. He works for his cousin. But it's his cousin's father-in-law. And my son's become very close to this guy. Older guy. After my dad passed, this guy's kind of taken the role that my dad had in my son's life. And Billy said, I don't mind watching the women. He says, I can really follow the game a lot better. And here's someone who doesn't watch hockey, but it's the Olympics. We wrap ourselves around the flag. Here's a guy raised in Georgia who lives in Greenville, North Carolina, who's now watching hockey only because of the jersey that they have on.
Exactly.
And simply said, the women's game's a lot easier for me to follow. Yeah, it's slower, but I never thought about that. For the non-hockey fan, it's a little easier to watch, I would imagine. For the hockey fan, we can say it's a little slower, but I thought that was an interesting take by the person who doesn't watch the sport regularly.
It's one of the reasons, and I'm bigger than most on women's sports, and I've been big on the LPGA Tour for a while. I've invested in this tour a long time ago.
If it had personality, I'd be with you. I love the way they swing, David. I really do. As a golfer, I love the way they swing.
Well, that's part of why I always thought it would be more appealing, because of what is it that casual sports fan said about women's hockey versus men. Yeah, it's slower, but I can follow it better. Okay. Now, the yardages that the men are hitting, don't most men who are watching the PGA Tour, they can't relate to hitting 7-iron from 190
from 200 yards. Right. No,
right.
David, I hit my irons pretty long compared to even good players I play with. I hit my irons long. They're 2 clubs bigger than me.
Right. And so I always thought that would be one of the appeals. Also the guys get up and down from everywhere. They do. The women don't. The women's short games aren't nearly what the men's short games are. Okay. I actually thought the common golfer could relate to it more. I thought they could relate to the clubs and the yardages. Okay. Also, Mark, you hit the ball a little bit longer than most of the guys you play with. You don't swing like the guys on tour.
Hell
They
no.
look, their club head speed. You're not within
It's
50.
ridiculous.
Right.
No.
But Nelly Corda's club head speed, you're at least in the ballpark of her, clubs and yardages and what have you. It was one of the things that I always thought would make the LPGA Tour more appealing to the common male golfer.
And David, like it or not, the problem is that you have such an influx of Asian players on the tour.
Yeah.
They don't speak English, or if they do, they don't speak it well. So we like to follow people. I don't think it took a while for the NBA, when the NBA got the influx of European players. It didn't help the league initially. We're fine with it now, but it took a while.
Well, also it was the transition post-Michael was when the European influence really started to come in, and it was kind of like, But what did they also do to embrace it, which I do think, quick tangent, that the LPGA has made a mistake in? Okay, yeah, I got no problems with us, having every other year we do the Solheim Cup there, us against Europe. We should do every other year us against Asia.
Yes.
And by the way, we're probably not going to be the favorite. Okay, but they should embrace it. It's a big influx of their tour. They're great golfers. Well, then let's create a rivalry here. Listen, that would be a legit every other year competition. The President's Cup's got nothing. That's made up. I'm sorry. It just is.
No, there's nothing there.
But if the LPGA...
I think the world players like the opportunity to play against the Americans, but they have no shot at winning. But it is interesting from the women's standpoint, and I do want to jump to this because I don't think we're going to talk about it a whole lot on the show today. ESPN has gone all in. All in. They've lost Sunday Night Baseball, and yesterday they announced that they are going all women.
Isn't it?
Women's Sports Sundays.
Right.
Is what it's called. It's going to be the WNBA, and it's going to be the Pro Soccer League. Now, look at the WNBA is going to do well, particularly when this Caitlin Clark girl plays. She'll be on a lot of these Sundays. It will rate very well. The soccer doesn't rate at all. I'm fascinated by that decision when they could have gone college softball, when they could have gone men's college baseball. There were a lot of directions they could have gone that do pretty well from a rating standpoint. But the soccer investment and, games without Caitlin Clark, how are they going to do? That's a big indicator to me of whether or not this will work.
I'll be honest, though, Mark. You're programming ESPN. What options do you have? Okay, you don't have your hands on baseball. It's the spring. What are you going to put in its place? Now, I'm with you. I would have done a lot of college softball, college baseball. Okay,
now, they've got the NHL in the spring. From a programming standpoint.
So this is just during the summer.
This is during the summer.
Well, part of the problem is, the colleges are done by mid-June.
But I might have just jumped in early and gone the college softball route. Now, maybe they're obligated to the NHL on Sundays with playoffs and things like that through June, that they're going to have a lot of programming. But now, I would have gone college softball. It rates.
It definitely rates. It definitely rates. Now, I will say a lot of Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, the Sunday softball games start between like noon and 2.
I don't know what to tell you. I go to my SEC partner and say, you've got to play one at 8 o'clock for me.
No, I know. But you will get the, this is awful for travel and school and what have you. But I'm with you. I'm like, yeah, we're going to take one for the sports here. Okay. Instead of having, 800,000 people watch, we're going to get 2.5 times that. We can get 2 million if we put this game on a Sunday night.
So a big investment in women's sports. We'll see if the soccer does anything. I don't think it will.
I think you've hit on it. You're going to try. They are going to try to show you a lot of A, Caitlin Clark, and B, Trinity Rodman.
Yep. And they just paid Trinity Rodman a boatload of money to not go over and play in Europe. She stuck with the league and is getting paid big dollars.
Yeah, 7 figures. First number crooked. Yeah. Basically, it's kind of like when they brought Messi to Miami. Whatever salary cap and rules the league had, they said, that's for everybody else. And that's pretty much what they just did for Trinity Rodman. Yeah, but there's exceptions to the rule, right, Charlie? Right? It's an exception, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't blame them.
No.
You want your sport to thrive. You got to keep the stars playing in your league, and that's their shot. But they'll, NBC is going to have Sunday Night Baseball.
At least for next year. At least for this year.
It's a dadgum good point, Dave.
Good to see. This women's sports could have a phenomenal 2027 when you think about it. Just wait a year. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Was it SI, Sonny, or Playboy? Somebody made a comment about my beard. This is 3 weeks. I literally last shaved 3 weeks ago tomorrow. I will be shaving this today, tomorrow, because it's driving me nuts.
So as I've mentioned in the too much information department, they have to log how much comes out of me. So I pee in a cup, basically, in a bucket. So I've had two songs. Well, I've had 2 songs that have made me laugh every time I do it. I've changed Hell in a Bucket by the Grateful Dead to Pee in a Bucket. And I've changed the Harry Chapin Time in a Bottle to Piss in a Bottle. And that makes me laugh.
Okay.
But I just realized I've missed one the entire time, and it just made me really giggle because I was doing the History of the World line. You look like the piss boy, and you look like a bucket of shit. Oh,
Piss boy, come here.
Piss boy, you look like the piss boy. You look like a. It's another movie my mother took me to in the theater.
So Julie stumbled upon a Benny Hill the other day. Her parents, the minister and the minister's wife, used to let her on either Friday or Saturday nights, I forget when it aired, watch Benny Hill.
And British television was so much more sexual than American TV. I mean, that was
staggeringly so. Right. And so she's watching one the other day and she's like, I can't believe my parents let me watch this. And I can't believe that I found it like cute, like the music and
right.
You
missed what was really going on.
I missed all of it.
Exactly.
She was like, I couldn't believe how sexual it was. I'm like, yeah, I was old enough when it aired. I knew how sexual it was. My mother would have lost her mind if she saw me watching Benny Hill.
And I always laugh because, my mother said when she took me to History of the World in that very first scene when they all start working themselves, I didn't get it. I was too little to understand it. But you got Orson Welles and man stood, and my mother goes, I've got my head down in the theater going, what did I bring my kid to?
Exactly. Are they going to DCF going to show up and take my kid away?
Not in the 70s, early 80s.
No, God, no.
No. Poll question.
I really
Bears.
think if the Bears leave for Indiana, who do you blame? The Bears, the state of Illinois. Because stove up, and you don't have to see it this way, but there are some people that are like, yeah, the Bears are bigger than you.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Sam Peebles to talk Braves in a little more than 15 minutes. Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the hour. Derek Schultz in a little more than an hour. Are the Bears moving to Indiana? We'll get into it from the Indiana perspective with Derek Schultz in a little more than an hour. Listen, I could be just 400% wrong here. And I understand the Chiefs are moving across the border from Missouri to Kansas. But there's a Kansas City in both Missouri and Kansas, even though they're in the one that's in Missouri. And I'll be brutally honest. You know why I'm not all bent out of shape about the Chiefs leaving Kansas City? Missouri. Because they're not close to downtown. And Kansas City doesn't have a great downtown anyways. It just doesn't. Sorry. There's a lot about Kansas City that's awesome. Okay, their barbecue, the people.
It's been 100 years since I've been there, David. But I will say, we played when I worked for an IHL team. We played downtown. That's where was it Kemper Arena?
Yes.
That's where Kemper Arena was. We stayed in the Marriott downtown. There was nothing downtown. When we had the night off after the game, there was nowhere to go. We had to take cabs to whatever area town that was cool. And I had a great time when I was there. I had a lot of fun in Kansas City, but none of it ever in downtown.
So the other thing is, it is a royal pain in the blank to get in and out of Chiefs games. It is. It's, man, is it a problem. So the just sports fan in me is like, well, they're 20 minutes from downtown Kansas City as it is, and this place is a cluster to get in and out of. I mean, you're closer to the Kansas line from here than you are to downtown Kansas City. So I don't know. It didn't strike me as blasphemous.
Well,
What
I think the other
Chiefs
one
are
is that
doing.
we're, maybe I'm being a little rotten here. If you would have polled 100 people from, Florida, New York, and California, said, what state do the Kansas City Chiefs play in? I wonder how many would have just instantly answered Kansas. That's an us problem, not the problem. But
now I will say, though, that whole Arrowhead experience, I think it's the best once you get in that parking lot. And I cannot emphasize enough how of a pain it is to get in and out of that place. Okay. But once you get in it, it's the best parking lot in the NFL. It's better than Lambeau. It's better than downtown New Orleans. It's amazing.
Well, there is no parking lot for a Saints game. Everybody's walking to the damn game.
Right,
I mean,
but you and I did it. You can
it's cool. It's
right.
really cool. It's
right.
it's almost like a European. When Seth was talking about Arsenal and the march to the game, that's kind of what a Saints game is. You kind of march from wherever you are downtown to the game.
So, maybe this comes across as totally hypocritical. I wasn't as bent out of shape with the Chiefs moving across the border. Maybe I should be. I will say, man, Arrowhead's amazing. It just is. And the stadium's cool.
Let me ask you this question, David. And I think this is ridiculous that they're moving to Indiana. But the Arlington Heights was the other place. That's nowhere near downtown Chicago either.
No, it's not. Okay, but here's the part of the deal. Okay, the Bears want their own stadium, and they want to pay as little as possible. We all get it. Okay. And it does seem as if the Bears had to choose today, that Indiana's picking up more of the tab than Illinois is going to pick up. I think the Bears are going to be on the hook for like $2 billion. The Bears said they'd chip in $2 billion, and they needed about $850 million of infrastructure from the state, and they needed them to rework some of the tax code so that they paid less in taxes. Okay, which most people said actually the Bears are in the right in comparison to other teams and what they do. All right, fine. Are they the Chicago Bears if they move to Hammond, Indiana?
They're the New York Giants in New Jersey.
I understand it's very different, though. It is. Come on, you can stand. No, come on. You can stand in the stadium and see, Midtown Manhattan.
I got you. But let me just ask you this, and I know you are a proud New Jerseyan. Anybody from New York say, boy, I'd rather be in New Jersey?
There are
people in the city?
There are a lot of people that work in the city who live across the border. I mean, right along the water there, and they don't want to live in the city. They'd much rather live in Jersey.
Okay. All right.
Now, you and I both know, once it gets 5 o'clock, I'd rather be across the river in New York City.
Right.
Right.
People had brought up that the Lions for years played in Pontiac. It didn't work that well there. It really didn't. It never was accepted.
Okay.
The Pistons played in Auburn Hills, which was near Pontiac. That worked, but the Pistons were also really good. And you know what everybody's happy about in Detroit is that the Wings, Pistons, Lions, and Tigers all play downtown.
Yep.
And I'm from 100 miles from Detroit. I'm not a Detroit native. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. It's 100 miles away. I'd much rather go to a game downtown than in the burbs.
And listen, you're right. If you go from Soldier Field and you were to count the miles to Arlington Heights, where that racetrack was and where they bought all that land, It's only a few miles shorter than if you got on I-90 and went south to Hammond, Indiana. But let me ask you this. It's not just the stadium and the financing of it. What is it that they're also wanting? They're wanting to be able to build up everything around it. And by the way, everything around it also includes housing. All right. I will say them moving to Hammond, Indiana, in a lot of ways is like the Giants moving to Giants Stadium because it's a swamp. I mean, there's a reason that Jersey, gave them everything.
Said here, you can have it. Right.
Because we ain't doing anything with this. And we're probably never going to do anything with this. And it's not like a ton of housing 50 years later has been built in and around Giant Stadium. Hell, there's not a lot of hotels that have been built in and around Giant Stadium in 50 years. But remember, what are they also trying to do? They're trying to get Final Fours. They're trying to get the college football championship game. They're trying to have this stadium be used like Jera gets his stadium used.
And what's happening in Cleveland right now? Now they're staying in Ohio, but they're moving out of Cleveland to build their dome in the burbs.
But if you're the Bears, listen, Indiana's offering you a better deal. Got it. But think a big picture. How many of your fans are really going to be honked by this? I mean, really honked by this. Because also, most of the suburbs are north of downtown. Okay, it's going to be a much longer drive to the game than just, it's 25 miles, 35 minutes from Soldier Field. Bull blank. And secondly, where are the hotels in Hammond, Indiana to have a Final Four? Also, if you're the Bears, they got Indianapolis. It's all hooked up. It's all set up. Why would they ever have a major event in Hammond, Indiana when they can go to Indianapolis?
Well, because they can say Chicago, David.
The hell they can. The hell they can. Okay.
So the Super Bowl wasn't in New York City, basically.
Here's
that's
why.
How it was sold. That's how it was sold. I know
that's how it was sold, but here to me is how it's sold. The blimp shot. Can you, with the blimp shot, have the city on one side and the stadium on the other?
Now, one in our chat room, DC is saying that you can. I don't know.
Okay. Hey, I'm not from there. I've only been there a couple dozen times. So I'm not a Chicagoan. I don't know how this would affect your heart and soul. But
Texter says, being from Central Illinois, I can tell everyone within 50 miles of Chicago, you live in Chicago. Chicago is enormous, but it's the state of Illinois.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise. On 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Hey, Southwest Florida, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. For you that haven't tried us yet, you gotta get in here and try my favorite 5 Chicago-style sandwiches. I got the Italian beef, I got the Italian sausage, the sausage and beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, and our soon-to-be famous breaded steak. Call us at either one of our locations in Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced jardiniere.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, I just realized something. Since I'm really not going to be allowed to drink in 2026, it's going to be pretty easy for me to give up alcohol for Lent. You didn't have your headsets on, but they heard me. I said, you know, David, since I can't drink till 2027, it's really easy for me to give up drinking for Lent this year.
The other thing, and listen, I could be totally wrong on this. I know. But North Jersey, the Newark airport is considered one of the 3 New York airports. JFK, LaGuardia, Newark. You flying into the city, which one you flying into? Okay. North Jersey is considered part of the New York metropolitan area. Is Hammond, Indiana considered Chicago? I mean, that's why I get it. You know, cross state lines, therefore it's the same. I'm telling you, it's not.
I'm here. Here's what I just looked up. That yes, it's considered a suburb, and there's a South Shore line that takes you from there to Chicago.
Okay. All right. Does anybody use it? I'm not being a jerk. Who the hell goes from Hammond, Indiana to Chicago?
Morning, Sam.
Morning.
How are you?
Doing well.
Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Are you in Florida? Or are you in
Yes.
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you?
Bay
What do
County.
you? We've been down there up there a couple of times. What do you think of that spring training facility? I think they did a hell of a job there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. For sure.
Plus, it didn't suck right after they moved there. They won the World Series. That always makes a fan base feel like, you know, this new home is good to us.
Yeah. I still have memories of as a kid going down to the ESPN, the
Sure.
Disney ESPN park,
Right.
you know?
Uh-huh. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Getting excited for baseball season.
Yeah, we are.
The last one we're going to have, at least, you know, better to enjoy 2026 because we don't think there's going to be much of a season in 27.
Well, they got a new MLB PA president, so we'll see.
Well, he's hardline, though. He was going to be the negotiator. He's still going to be the negotiator.
Yeah.
And the owners got to figure out what they're going to do first. But I hope you're right. I hope we're being way too pessimistic, but we've thought this for a while.
I just want to go take in a couple of games in Atlanta, take in that whole scene.
Shoot, I go to the Battery even when it's not baseball season. I like that area.
Well, there you go. And the Rays have quoted the Braves, the new owners. They're like, we're going to try to build the Battery. That's what we need to do.
Coming back in about 10 seconds.
All right.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. That's when Pat Kirwan will join us on this Friday edition of Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Sam Peebles, kind enough to join us. He covers the Braves for SB Nation and their platform. He's host of the Braves Dugout podcast. Follow Sam on X, S Peebles Sports, S Peebles Sports. Sam, it's David and Mark. Thanks for doing this. Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right. From an injury standpoint, does this feel like, holy mackerel, this just won't stop? I mean, they haven't even thrown a pitch yet, and they've lost two pitchers for a long time. And, I mean, is it that same feeling, or for some reason is this different?
Well, there's two sides of the coin for me. It kind of shows why the Braves have been drafting pitchers for so long in the draft, because it's very clear that it's hard in today's world. It's hard to keep pitchers healthy with as hard as they're throwing the ball. I mean, you can go online and look at the stats. The injuries are through the roof since, the 2010, 2015 timeframe. But so part of me is like, it's just the way it is because the injuries happen all across the league. But at the same time, it's like, why does it have to be the Braves the last 2 years? A lot of people thought the Braves were going to go out and get a playoff caliber starter. That didn't happen. That doesn't mean that Alex Anthopoulos didn't try, but obviously didn't try hard enough. I typically support what Alex Anthopoulos does, and this one is kind of a shocker to me so far, especially considering last year the Braves ended the second half of the season with the sixth best offense in Major League Baseball. If they would have had solid pitching, they would have been in the playoffs. And to me, that seemed it was very clear that it wasn't the talent on paper that was the issue. The issue was the depth. I mean, when you have to continue to pitch a guy like Bryce Elder, who has been one of the luckiest pitchers I can remember, his underlying stat shows he's a 5 ERA pitcher. If you got to continue to pitch a guy like that, to me, that's a clear sign that you need to bring in somebody for depth. Now, they do have some guys in the upper minors like J.R. Ritchie that could come in and fill in. There is lower level depth there, but I mean, it just made too much sense when you see guys like Chris Bassett or other guys like that are signing very manageable contracts. It's pretty crazy that the Braves didn't bring in at least one.
All right. Just from a managerial standpoint, Snedeker steps down, Walt Weiss takes over. How much of a difference in your eyes does that make? I mean, I know the manager in baseball is not what it once was, but is that 4 or 5 wins? I mean, Snedeker seemed to have a good grasp on the clubhouse and a good grasp of the players, albeit last year didn't go the way they wanted it to, but a lot of it because of injuries like you talked about. From a managerial standpoint, how different is it this year?
Yeah, so at first I was shocked when they brought in Walt Weiss. I'm like, well, of course they did. But if you sit back and think about it, I kind of actually like it the more I think about it, because the thing that Brian Snitker had that the players really liked is he was a player's manager, and you saw it as soon as he came in as the interim. The Braves went from the worst offense in Major League Baseball to the second best offense in Major League Baseball that year without adding anybody. So clearly Brian Snitker brought something, and I think that the players probably trust Walt Weiss just like they trusted Brian Snitker. The key here is that the Braves went out and got secondary coaches to help bolster that. They brought in a bunch of young guys. They brought in one of the best, arguably the best first base coach in Major League Baseball, one of the better third base coaches in Major League Baseball. And they brought in a really solid staff around Walt Weiss. And I think that's going to be the game changer there, is that not just Walt Weiss himself, but his support staff is really going to make a huge difference.
Do you think there's any chance? I mean, the Braves are not, first off, the Braves do spend money. They're not cheap. All right. But they could probably spend a little more with how flush with cash they are from how successful the battery is. I mean, Lucas Giolito, Nestor Cortez. I mean, the one guy's 30, the other's 31. If you're into WAR, they're both 2 and above pitchers. I mean, they seem like, couldn't the Braves 1 year, I don't know, 10 million base loaded with incentives, 12 million base? I mean, doesn't that seem like something the Braves should do?
Well, there's a lot of factors when it comes to that. So it's not as simple as do you spend or not. When you look at things like the luxury tax thresholds, the Braves have about 25 million before they get to the third tier, and they reset last year. They did that on purpose. They claim that they weren't doing it on purpose, but they did. They were below the luxury tax threshold last year on purpose so that they could reset it this year. But it seems to be that the Braves want to stay under the third tier, because once you get to that third tier, you really start paying taxes. You start losing draft picks. Mostly the main thing is the draft picks that they're losing. So they've got about 25 million. Typically, Alex Anthopoulos likes to leave about $10 million on the table throughout the year that he can play with, because they're gonna have to bring up guys, pull in minor acquisitions throughout the year, and then at the trade deadline you might want to spend some money. So I figured they'd probably spend about 15 more is about how much they had to play with. So they might bring in a guy for about 15 million. If that's the case, there's still a little bit of time left. Guys like you said, Giolito, Max Scherzer, guys like that, they could bring in for 15 million. But I do want to point out, that the Braves are not cheap. They are top 6 or 7 payroll. This is the second most they've ever spent in the history, and that's including inflation. That's not just because inflation has come up and they've spent a lot. Like, if you do the math for inflation, it is the second most they've ever spent. So the Braves are not cheap. It's not for a lack of money. There has been a lot of bad luck with injuries and things like that.
Give me a guy that's got to have the big year offensively. You just talked about it the second half. Their offense was great. Acuna, obviously we know. To me, it's Riley that's got to have the big year. When you look at it, where does the big year have to come from?
Yeah, I mean, Riley is the most obvious choice for multiple reasons. He's, a key member of that core lineup, but also he's got the biggest contract in Braves history. And so he's got to live up to that so that he hits on both sides. They depend on him offensively and defensively, as well as they pay him a lot of money. That's number one. But also a guy that comes to mind is Michael Harris. He struggled really bad last year, but his underlying metrics showed that he was a bit unlucky in terms of batting average of balls in play, on base average versus expected on base average, things like that. I expect him to be a lot better this year, but they really need him to step up this year. If those two can step up offensively, I would not be shocked if the Braves had like a top 4 offense.
Sam Peebles, as you could tell, he's very familiar with the Braves, and he should be. He covers them on the SB Nation platform, Battery Power, and he hosts the Braves Dugout podcast. Follow him on X, S Peebles Sports. S Peebles Sports. They gonna have any trouble replacing Zuna? I know last year was half of what it was the year before, but they're gonna be okay at DH.
I do think so. Yeah. They brought in, Mike Yastrzemski. Man, that's a hard name to say as a Braves fan. When they brought him in, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to learn how to say that last name properly. And then, Jurickson Profar. I mean, don't get me wrong, a peak Ozuna you want in your lineup.
Sure.
But in today's world, it makes more sense to have flexibility in the DH role, someone that can actually play in the field so that you can play the matchups. And that's what the Braves opted to do this year. And when you got a guy like Yaz that can play in the outfield, you got Dubon that can move all over the field, Profar that can play left field in a pinch. I mean, it makes more sense to have flexibility in the DH role. I do not expect to see one person get the major load in DH. I expect to see move people around. You'll see Acuna get DH some. You might even see guys like Austin Riley play DH some just to rest their legs a little bit. And with as terrible injury luck as the Braves have had, I hope that they do that.
All right, Fangraphs has the Braves at like 88 wins, or I'm 92 wins. My betting app that I've got in front of me here in Florida, the Hard Rock app, has 88.5 for an over/under. Seems like an overplay. Is this a 90-win team this year, Sam?
A lot of the projections have them around 88 to 92 wins, and you know, I think last year they had a lot of terrible injury luck. If on paper, and a lot of, just for what it's worth, these projections that you're talking about, they factor in guys like Spencer Schwellenbach being injured. So I mean, I tend to lean towards the projections. They're never perfect. It's not a perfect science, but it is that they do use real data. And I do think that with the division that they play in, they are a top 5 NL team pretty easily. There's a lot of teams that are rebuilding. There's a lot of teams that are lower end teams that have gotten better that are going to take wins away from the top tier teams. I think this could be a year that the Braves do take their division again for sure.
All right. They were talking Braves on MLB Network Radio yesterday, and they talked, and I think they added it up that the top 3 starters had 71 starts last year for the Braves. If I tell you right now that 71 starts becomes 81 starts, that their top 3 starters average making 27 starts in the season, is that the magic number for them to finish no worse than second in the division? Because I think it is. Like, I think they got 20 starts out of Sale, who's obviously our guy. Okay, but to me, they need 27, 28 starts out of Sale, not 20. So if 71 becomes 81, is that the magic number?
Yeah, the key this year, I have no issues with the offense. So the key here is keeping your starting pitchers healthy. Absolutely. That's going to be the key. Because on paper, the Braves are great. But that's on paper. That doesn't factor in injuries.
All right. Sam Peebles. Hey, thanks for making time for us. We appreciate it. Enjoy Venice and the west coast of Florida for the next few weeks, and safe travels, and hopefully we can catch up in April.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sam Peebles, who covers the Braves, part of the SB Nation platform. All right. It's called Battery Power on SB Nation. His podcast is the Braves Dugout Podcast. S. Peebles, Peebles, S. Peebles Sports. S. Peebles Sports, as you could tell just from those 12 minutes, very knowledgeable and detailed about the Braves.
Got a great text during the interview with Sam there that if you're a football fan, you would get, and if you're a Braves fan, you'd get too. Are the Braves practicing next to a power plant?
Well played. Very well played. Just their pitchers.
Oh, man.
Just their pitchers. Their regular players are at completely different fields. Just
well, I mean, do you think the Phillies are better or worse than last year?
Oh, worse.
Right.
Worse. I mean, first off, we don't know what we're going to get out of Wheeler coming off that surgery. They lost their number 2 starter. So, no, they're definitely worse. And they haven't made the outfield any better. I'm sorry. It's still a below-average outfield.
Are the Mets the same, better, or worse? I would argue the same.
Well, it's
maybe a touch better.
Because they finished with 83 wins, okay? I'll argue they're going to finish better, but, you know, I don't think it's huge. I think it's a very small upgrade. Very small.
You know, the Nats are what they are. I think the Marlins have the potential to steal games from teams like the Braves, the Mets, and the Phillies this year.
Well, it's interesting, though. You know, the Marlins finished 3rd last year. They finished ahead of the Braves. Like right now, okay, if you had to put $20 on where the Marlins finish, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
I think 3rd's realistic, but I think the Phillies might finish 4th.
Ooh, now see, I haven't heard anybody push the Phillies out of the playoffs and down to 4th. So that's interesting. I guess I just have too much regard for them to see them falling.
I know.
You know,
that's your soft spot in baseball. It really is. It has been your whole life because you've watched it. You've just seen it forever.
I just have Harry Callis and Richie Ashburn in my head and Michael Jack Schmidt at the plate. I don't know what to tell you.
This Carlton guy thrown every 4 days. So, yeah, I get it.
Well, there was that, too. There was that. That slider was something. But, like, I don't know if wins-loss-wise, if the Marlins can do better than what they did last year. I think they'll be a better team. I mean, NFL Contra and a few others stay healthier. That'll be phenomenal. But, like that, the Mets went in the tank. The Braves went in the tank. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen for the Marlins this year, if you know what I mean.
Right. And the other thing that I thought he brought up, but we didn't get into it deeply because we're talking about the Braves, but, the Pirates are going to be better. The Cubs, I think, are going to be better. How much do the Brewers fall off? I mean, I think that division, which was kind of regarded as the worst division in baseball, is going to be better this year.
I also think the San Francisco Giants are going to be better. All right. They were a 500 team last year. So
we'll see. I mean, that's a tough division, too, because the Padres aren't going anywhere and the Dodgers are who they are.
I do think, though, the Padres are not as good as they were last year, although they've made a couple nice late off-season, early spring training acquisitions that really could help that team. They're for sale, too. So you never know how that's going to go. Miller and Moulton. All right. We'll talk about the Bears to Indiana and a whole lot more with Pat Kirwan next.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass, your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours. Get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332516.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Pat.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
I'm great.
Oh, Mark, I'm still laughing about Declan Doyle, the quote of yesterday. I had a 1-hour Zoom call with Lamar to see if we were compatible. What is this, speed dating? I mean, serious. What do you think Lamar's going to do sitting in his house on a Zoom? Going to give you any of the cards he's holding in his hand? No. Hey, Coach, how are you? What's up? Declan Doyle. He'll be in trouble with the union, flirting with the new definition of voluntary.
Mhm.
I heard you guys. Where was I? Driving in my car yesterday. And I heard the last 5 minutes. Sometimes I don't even remember what channel you're on. So I was surfing around, and there I was, and I heard you guys rambling on at the end of it, saying goodbye. You got two different station numbers, an AM and an FM?
An AM and FM, 2 FMs, I think, in Southwest Florida. Pat, you may have to make a trek. I'll text you the guy's info. But Jimmy's got a lot of stone crabs, and they're pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, I got my brothers in town. Just tell me where to go, and I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 3 of my brothers. All 3 of them are here.
Oh, boy. Pat, I said it earlier, but I'm getting out of here either today or tomorrow.
How great is that?
Yeah.
Now he's not.
You're not going home. You're going to that halfway house?
I'm going to be in a hotel for a couple of days because I can't get in the lodge till Wednesday because that's when they thought initially I was getting out. But everything is working out the way it's supposed to. The engrafting part of my cells is happening. My numbers have jumped up here in the last 2 days.
Thank God. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah, text me how to get in touch with Jimmy, and I'll go get what I got to get. That sets up perfect with these guys. Ba-da-da-da-da. You got to write a book about doing that radio show from the hospital and getting better at record pace.
Yep.
I had part of it's the psychological part. You just never lost stride with your normal life. Now, if we just brought you a putting green, you'd be in perfect fucking shape.
You got that right.
I played my best round.
Can you hit balls into a net? I know they won't let you on a golf course, but could you go to a simulator?
Trust me, when I meet with my doctor next week and we're in the outpatient, it will be the first question.
Yeah.
Where's Mark? Well, it's the afternoon. He's at Topgolf from 1 to 4.
Oh, 10 seconds, boys.
Yeah, you got to get a net in your backyard. Whoops, sorry about that, neighbor. Didn't hit the net that time. How's your roof?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Friday, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, and Fort Myers, Naples. Final hour of the show. Venice, Northport, Port Charlotte and surrounding areas, Lake City, Live Oak and surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's time for Pat Kirwan to join us once again. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, weekdays 3 to 7, and during the season, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers. Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. So where are you on this Bears story?
I'm in Indiana, and I think a couple reasons why. Chicago and the state of Illinois have fumbled around with this infrastructure deals, this park district, all the stuff that's part of this. And they should have learned when Kansas City absolutely decided to leave the state and go right across. Geographically, it's the same kind of deal. They're moving right across the state line. It's Kansas City proper. The city is still going to have people in hotels and all that business, but they let those taxpayers say, we don't want to pay any more taxes. And now the stadium's over. So Kansas City, I have my own experience with this whole thing. I mean, you grew up in the metropolitan area, David.
Mm-hmm.
It was the New York Giants at Yankee Stadium. It was the New York Jets at Shea Stadium.
Yep.
And not only did they just cross over the river, it was a complicated driving experience. Significant number of the Jet fans were Long Islanders. And it went from driving to Shea Stadium in 45 minutes to crossing over and passing 12 million people called New York City, the George Washington Bridge, the tunnel, whatever way you wanted to go. It was a disaster, but they did it. And slowly but surely, the fan base shifted to a Jersey fan base as more and more people said, I can't take this ride anymore. But there were still people around. The Indiana thing is going to be the same. And the Indiana government saw the opening and they jumped in with both feet. I had a guy on yesterday. He went on and on and on about how mad he was at A, the governor, B, the mayor, and C, the Bears for doing this. When he was all done, I said, okay, take a deep breath. Are you still going to go to the games? He goes, well, of course. So,
and they're going to still be the Chicago Bears. They are. I mean, that name's not changing. There's too much proprietary wealth in the name. It ain't changing.
No, and there's no reason to change it. So a producer, TV guy that I obviously work with said, you know, for the Giant and Jet games, they still shoot a skylight of New York when introducing the game tonight. The Giants at home, and then they'll zoom, the Empire State Building and everything else. What do you think? They're not going to zoom the skylight of Chicago as they make that thing look like it's flying right out to the stadium? It's not. And honestly, I heard all the traffic. My brother's a Chicago high school football coach for 30 years. I got all the news on what it costs to drive and all this other stuff. And there's a toll road. And I just used the Jets and the Giants. There was no tolls on the way to Shea Stadium and anywhere in Long Island or Queens or Brooklyn. You just drove there. And all of a sudden you're paying the toll to cross over the bridge and get on the turnpike. Come on. It's happening.
Now, and listen, there are a lot of similarities.
It's kind of the same. Sorry, David.
No, go.
I was going to say it's similar to what we do as fans paying for all the streaming services. We bitch and moan about all the streaming services we have to pay for to watch the games. And at the end of the day, you know what we do? We get Netflix and we get Amazon Prime and we buy the Sunday ticket because we want to watch football.
Yeah.
All right. Let me come at you a little bit differently. And, you worked for the Jets. So, in a way you would know better than me, even though I grew up in the, New York, Northern Jersey metropolitan area. But the Giants moved in the 70s. The Jets moved in the 80s. First off, baseball was more popular than football when both teams moved. All right. Secondly, they were the secondary tenants in both of the buildings they played in and always were going to be. That's not the case here. Third, all right, this is my question to Bears fans. Is Hammond, Indiana a suburb? Okay, because Pat, there's considered 3 airports that you fly into if you're going to New York: JFK, LaGuardia, Newark. Newark's in Jersey. The New York metropolitan area covers the northern part of Jersey. Does Hammond, Indiana, is that a Chicago suburb? Because I was always told the Chicago suburbs are north of Soldier Field, north and west, north and east. Okay, that would be my thing. To a Chicagoan, does this feel like you're leaving Chicago? Because I was old enough to remember, people bitched and moaned when the Giants were leaving. But then they realized the city was broke and they probably have to do this. And for the Giants fans, it wasn't that much of an adjustment. You're right. For Jets fans coming from Long Island, this was a big deal. I'm just wondering, from the Bears fans you heard from yesterday, do they look at Hammond, Indiana as a Chicago suburb?
Well, I think technically they wouldn't, but the Giants and Jets went out and built a stadium in a swamp.
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't like real land. They had to fill it in.
No.
So there are fans, that think about there are a lot of Giant fans from Westchester. So, there was other things. They're going over the old Tappan Zee Bridge and down. I get it. But I have friends that live up by Albany that were Giant fans. So for them, and a lot of them, they didn't feel like it was any different. So I don't know. There's a lot of Jersey guys and everything else, but the psychology of moving is a temporary problem. So at Mark's point, they'll moan, they'll groan, and they'll go anyway. And they're going to love the new stadium. See, because that's the other thing. They play in a dump, no offense, but the number one largest city in America with one football team has the smallest stadium.
Yes.
And it's kind of like they finished the basement and called it a room. We know it wasn't. It was a finished basement. You can still see the cinder blocks. Come on. That place is not very nice. And it looks nice with the pillars and you're walking up to it, historical feel to it. There are those who say we walk to the games. But I'll throw something else into the equation. And I get this from a very close friend of mine, not my brother. It's not the exact safest place in the world anymore, Chicago downtown. And a lot of restaurants are closed up. And I'm not here to argue that, discuss the politics. I don't care. But they're going to build them a brand new stadium. They're going to get March Madness out there. They're going to get it all. And people will complain, and then they won't complain. But I will say, this was brought up to me yesterday, too. Chicago thinks, this is from a Chicago fan who said, we think of Notre Dame as a home school. Notre Dame and Chicago are very closely connected. And he goes, we could drive right past that all the time. So to maybe answer your question, some are going to think Hammond's fine. When they go to see the stadium, they're going to love what they got.
All right. Other things to talk about in the NFL, because we're a couple weeks away from free agency. Or, as you like to say, we're going to start it next week at the Combine because all the agents and GMs are going to be in the same city. When you look at, Pat, you were talking about getting ready for the Combine, that you said this is a really good year for edge rushers. There's a couple of decent edge guys at free agency. What do you think that Chubb, or what do you think some of these guys are going to take from a free agency standpoint to get? Because there are a handful of edge guys. Obviously, you got Hendrickson out there. You've got Phillips out there that I think will stay. But you've got a handful of edge guys out there. What's the market going to be for these edge guys that are available?
Well, I think there's two groups here. A lot of teams that are smart now will not pay big money to the over 30 crowd. So the guys who've done pretty well in free agency want to sign guys that are 26, 27. It's really hard to get at 23. They're still on a rookie deal. So when you look at the names, you knock out Hendrickson 31, Bosa 31, Khalil Mack 35, Cam Jordan 35, Arden Key 30. Muhammad was the guy with the most sacks in free agency. He has 11. He wasn't even considered an elite player. So take all those guys out and go back and look at it from who's young enough that will play for a 4-year deal, because your question was who's getting paid. And I'm not paying the over 30 crowd. So now you're down to Phillips. They'll take care of that one. Chason has too much, 7.5 sacks, but too much history of mediocrity. I like him, but I wouldn't pay him. And before you know it, Joseph Asai, those kind of guys, you're talking about maybe Adafe Owe, who was gladly traded. There's not a lot of guys. Oh, you want to get to the outside linebacker guys? Kyle Van Noy, 35. Jacob Martin, 30. Ellis, 31. Von Miller, 37. Floyd, 34. Riddick, some of those guys, you're not going to pay them anymore. And I do think, as I'm looking closer and closer at the draftable class, there's a lot of players. And I'd spend my money on the young ones.
All right, got about a minute or so about this. Don't you think, though, the Chargers, the Bills, the Bucks, all right, they can't get the under 30 guy that they want, but a couple of those 30, 31-year-old guys, like if you're the Bucks, don't you go back to, okay, let's find the right Hassan Reddick. We got it wrong last year, but should we go and pay Hendrickson 1 or 2 years and pay him significant money, just really short term? I mean, these guys need pass rushers. Don't they have to take a leap of faith on some of these guys?
They do, but that's not what Mark's question was. I don't think we're going to see the 4-year deal for 15 to 20 million a year. I think you're going to see a bunch of those guys signed after the draft. Now, before I jump in on a 31-year-old who wants a lot of money, let's see if I draft one. If I don't, that's my comeback fallback position. And then it's a 2-year deal and it doesn't look the same. But jump up on day one of free agency and throw a big mega deal at these pass rushers. I don't see one guy that I would throw a big deal at on opening day.
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is weekdays 3 to 7 Eastern. And he also works for CBS in the NFL Today show. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between. You know the drill with Pinchers. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. More Pat Kirwan on the other side. Pat and all our guests joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass, your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway rides. Mega Passes available online through February 26th at swflagexpo.com. Don't wait. Grab yours and get ready for roots, rides, and real fun. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm talking to Jimmy's girlfriend right now for you, Pat.
Oh, awesome.
What do you probably want? 5 pounds, or do you want more than that?
What is 5 pounds like? What did I get last time?
5.
5. Let me think about that. Is it coming just chunks of 5? Maybe 7 pounds is the right
No, I
number.
can get you whatever you want. I'm literally texting with, and it's funny because she's like, "Oh, Jimmy would love to meet him because Jimmy's on the water right now." But I told you he played football at Mississippi State.
Well, I'll time it up to go see and meet him and shoot the breeze. I'll bring a book for him and all that stuff. 7.
But yeah.
I think 7 pounds is. I don't like to leave him left over. I just want to make sure
Exactly.
we eat them all.
I'm just waiting for his girlfriend to get back to me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. I will be here, Johnny, until May. My the what they tell you is they will not let you live within the vicinity of the hospital until 90 days post-transplant. That's May 6th. My goal is to get home by May 1st because my daughter's birthday is May 2nd. Now, I'll be out of Moffitt. Literally, I might be out by the end of the day. At the worst case, tomorrow, I could get out today. It's a matter of getting a hotel room for tonight because I didn't think it was going to be today. I thought it was going to be tomorrow. And the Hilton people told me I couldn't get a room tonight where I have booked. So I've got to call the hotel directly when the show's over because Hilton.com sucks.
Yeah. Well, you don't need any advice from me, but that sounds like I might stay an extra night right where I am, even though I hate it.
That's what might happen.
I hope so.
It might be easiest for everybody, particularly my mother and my wife and my daughter and all the crap that they have to pull off to get here.
No.
And they've already told me they won't throw me out. So,
well, there it is. That's a no-brainer. Just stay there and get yourself going at your pace with you have a place. It's not right. It's the room you wanted. You get to the front desk of some of these places and they don't have the room you said you wanted.
Oh, I know.
Plus, everyone will be a nervous wreck about you being out. They'll be scared about it and all that stuff. You won't be, but they will.
No, I mean, like literally, Pat, there's what they call it your absolute neutrophilic count. Yesterday, it was at 70 for me. Today, it's at 700 and something. Like it has to be 500 for them to tell me I'm discharged.
Oh man, so you're moving along fast now.
Things are multiplying quickly. And they said it could happen literally because they take my blood right after midnight. That's when they do all my labs. They come in and wake you up around midnight. And the nurse goes, all right, click your heels 3 times and say there's no place like home.
Most of those nurses are really amazing people.
They are so fantastic. This place is just full of, they literally have a do not disturb sign on my door so I can do the show, Pat.
I love it.
There's a window and I can open the blinds from the inside. They can open them from the outside. I ordered breakfast. The nurse was outside looking at me. Is it okay to come in to bring me my breakfast? Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Stay an extra day. They have been fabulous.
You have really handled this like I have a lot of relatives that have had to battle a lot of stuff, but none of them have that upbeat, positive head that you have.
I don't know why. I don't know why, but I have from the get-go. I think more of it's because of my daughter, Pat. There's no way I was going to let her have any doubt in her mind that her dad wasn't going to conquer this.
Well,
I will say, because you and I talked a little bit before the process started, Moffitt made a big difference. We had a conversation before you went to Moffitt, and I said to you, wait, just go to Moffitt. And you came back from that visit and you were like, oh, we got this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that absolutely is a big piece. Because if you're in the wrong place and you feel like you're in the wrong place.
Well, David, our buddy David Grant, who unfortunately lost his wife, he's like, Mark, get to the right place.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Welcome back to Remaining Moments this week with Pat Kirwan. Derek Schultz, he covers Indiana sports. We'll get his perspective and the Indiana perspective on this whole, are the Bears really moving to Indiana? That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers. Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh.
Pat, the NFC West was the best division in football last year. There was no doubt. Now, a brain drain with Kubiak going to Vegas, and then Seattle poaches the OC from San Francisco. When you look at the coaching losses, and, we watched it with Detroit, and they had a little bit of a setback. Who's in better shape? Seattle losing their OC and picking up the guy from San Francisco, or how much is this going to hurt the Niners?
Well, the Niners are so used to the brain drain, right? They're always guys walking out of there. So they have a unique ability, and I think it's well planned. Belichick was a bit like this. They keep young guys behind the guys they think they're going to lose, and they roll the next guy in, and we all have to look up his name because we never heard of him. And then a year later, he's a candidate. But I did talk to Mike McDonald yesterday about his new choice. He said he knew him. He said he was been paying attention to him. He said to me, the thing I found most interesting is what I like most about him is that he's already coached on the defensive side and special teams, and he gets the big picture of how we all have to work together. And I look, he has no fear. He had Coobs in there, and Coobs didn't have a lot of experience really to go all the way to a Super Bowl. So he's very confident that this is going to work. Of course, he should be. He hired him. But whether it's the Seattle offense or the Cleveland defense, there's some places you just don't change anything. You don't come in there with Lamar and his offense. You think that guy's going to change a lot? He may want to. So I do think that you have to be smart when you go to a good team. And I think this guy's comfortable doing most of what Kubiak did. There's no reason to turn this thing upside down. He said he wants to play fast. Okay, what does that word mean? Does that mean no huddle stuff? Does that mean a limited play call sheet and we play fast because we don't have a lot of things that are complicating us? I don't know what it means. We'll find out. But Mike was pretty happy about his choice, and he knew he was going to lose Kubiak sooner or later. The problem is this didn't happen well in Detroit, right? That's the one that scares you, that these could become Detroits where the coordinators leave and you're like, uh-oh, what are we doing? I don't think Mike feels that's going to happen.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think the Niners offensively will be fine. They still have Kyle Shanahan. I do think the Salah loss is significant, though. I mean, everybody on that team thought that was the key offseason acquisition for them last year. I think he probably left a year sooner than Shanahan thought he was going to get a job. So I'll bet you the Niners were staggered a little bit by that.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned the Ravens with Lamar. Lively is leaving via free agency. The younger tight end is leaving because he said, I need to go somewhere where I can flourish. Mark Andrews taught me everything I need to know. Now it's my time to shine somewhere else. Derrick Henry's a year older. Lamar's 30. And they may lose Linderbaum. I mean, don't you think Linderbaum's got them kind of over a barrel that they have to pay him elite money because otherwise the Giants are going to sign him?
Yeah. They must have anticipated that they're going to lose him when they didn't do anything with him last year, right? Didn't they skip the option year on him?
Right.
So they already made a decision to let the open market battle it. I would think they're going to lose him. And they may lose their punter, who, by the way, is quite good. You and I talked about this, David. They got a great punter. And number one net in the league, inside the 20 a ton of times. He'll be up at the Giants too. So that's the risk they took. I think the biggest story is Lamar, though, because now the new coordinator, and Mark and I were laughing a little bit about this, they had a 1 hour Zoom call to see if they were compatible. I don't know. I think all of us could get through a 1 hour Zoom call for compatibility reasons. But now he's kind of pushing you. I want you here in the spring, which Lamar doesn't like to do. I think a young guy pushing on Lamar like that might cause more friction. Lamar's kind of an independent thinker out there. And I don't know. I'd probably try to make him do it too, but the union doesn't let you use the voluntary word followed by mandatory, which is what that sounded like. So I anticipate some issues there.
David and I got into discussion a couple days ago about the Jags and ATN, the running back. What would you pay him? What do you think he's worth to them? And is it someone they could let walk if the money's not right?
Yeah, I think in the running back world, we do that. He's one of the top 3 guys in free agency. I would not tag him. I would let him go out there. I would tell him that we would like to have the ability to retain his services. We'd like to hear what your best offer is, and maybe we can beat it. If he's really shopping, which he should be, he should bring a deal back to him. That's kind of the version of the transition tag, but they won't want to use the tag because that language stuff gets all messy and then clubs can screw you around a little bit. But I think you get a shot where he might want to stay, but I wouldn't worry if I lost him. No offense.
Really?
He's always running. I wouldn't worry. There's running backs in college, and there's other free agents. Now, let me ask you a question. If you don't tag him and he's out there, why wouldn't I start talking to Kenneth Walker, whoever else might be out there? I don't have to sit here and sit on my hands and wait. Now, Walker, I would tag. I talked to Mike about that yesterday. He said, well, he knows how we feel about him. We love him. He knows how much we want him. To me, it sounds like they're getting a deal done before free agency starts.
Well, see, that's my thing. Like, I don't think the Jags are going to get a deal done with ATN. Where I think the Seahawks are going to get a deal done with Walker. Here's my fear, though, Pat. The Jags can't establish winning. All right? You know, that Marone had the one great year. They nearly went to the Super Bowl. That was it. You know, Doug Peterson had the one terrific year. They were 8-3 midway through the next. They basically lost out, missed the playoffs. They can't establish winning. There's a part of me that goes, I know the $14 million tag for ATN is too much, but I really need to make the playoffs in 27 again. We've got to establish that we're a winning franchise.
Yeah, so you go to ATN, the same thing I would do with Walker, less money than Walker. And I would say to him, look, we're not tagging you. And you might go out there and I don't think you're going to get for it. And I tell the agent this. The 14.5 is the franchise number. If I give you a franchise tag, you're going to tell me that's your value. I'm not giving it to you. But I tell you what I will do. I'll give you a deal for $9 million a year guaranteed for 3 years. Now, that takes the security of the injury right off the table. And two, I make you start thinking about what's the street going to offer me. Now, if the agent's any good, he'll be at the combine talking to guys saying, what would you pay if I can get you ATN? And we know how that works. But that's what I would do with him. And I'd walk away if he doesn't want that deal. Now, I want to give him that deal. The club may not even want to do that. So we'll see. But there's lots of names in there. I can get by for a year and a draft pick. The running backs have no leverage.
Pat, 30 seconds. What is the one thing you learn at the combine?
Not to take the results of running around in your underwear as a symbol of what it takes to play football.
Okay. But I mean, do you learn, you know, is the 10-minute interview with the guy? I mean, what is it you're going to Indianapolis for? 20 seconds.
Well, the interview is, they're all frustrated because the players were all prepped for it. They're not prepped for interviewing with me. So as one guy said to me, and he still does, can we just put you in the rooms and put a headset on these guys? Because they say stuff to you they won't say to us.
He's Pat Kirwan. He'll be in Indianapolis most of next week. We'll have to work out a schedule because he'll be working all darn week early in the morning.
Mark will like this more than you, David. If I wanted to get the truth out of these guys, I'd have a guy dressed up as a priest in the room. Have him ask the questions.
He's Pat Kirwan, joining us twice a week, courtesy of Pinchers. And just like Pat with Pinchers, you cannot fake fresh.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
RCB, we've gone over that a few times. Is that you wanted Pat to answer that, or because Mark is in the 12 to 15 million a year range. He played for 20 and change last year, almost 21. Spitz, I don't know. It's like 2.5 hours from Indianapolis to Hammond. I would think not, but hey, Rick,
Yes, sir.
if we start this segment, okay, and there's no sign of Derek, call him.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know if you gave me a number for him though.
I think it's there.
Okay, let me check.
I mean,
Because I think there was only
yeah,
one.
it's underneath it.
Okay. All right. I'll give him a call.
Underneath his email, I think, is the backup.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks for joining us on this very eventful Friday. If you missed Sam Peebles last hour talking Braves, if you just missed Pat Kirwan talking NFL, well, you go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you miss. Joining us once again on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs, is Derek Schultz, he of ISC Sports. He's also involved covering Purdue and the Colts. You can follow Derek on X at Schultz975. Schultz975. Derek, thanks for doing this again. It's David and Mark. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. I've always done this over phone, so I had no idea how handsome both of you were. But thanks for having me.
Please.
I love people that lie to start out.
I was going to say he doesn't even have
fantastic.
Doesn't have the sleepers out of his eyes yet. He doesn't even know what he's looking at. Okay,
Well,
have another cup of coffee.
And it's because I can see him and I see bottles of booze behind him. Maybe he started
I guess
early
I should.
this morning.
Yeah, sorry. I guess I.
Oh no.
Please
do.
There.
Please do. We're all for it.
Yeah, Derek, you're talking to a couple Catholics. You could even draw the booze closer. It'd be fine. Really, it would be fine. We booked you because we know that the Chicago reaction to this story is probably mixed, and then it's just a matter of how mixed. So, but what we really wanted to know is what's the Indiana/Indianapolis reaction to the possibility of the Bears moving to Hammond?
Yeah, I think it's largely been positive. I think everybody is intrigued, right? Because when this originally broke that the Bears were starting to sniff around, I think most folks, not just here in Indiana, but even nationally, thought, okay, they're using Northwest Indiana for leverage because they've already got the land bought at Arlington Heights, right? They're not going anywhere. They're just using this, using Indiana as a pawn in their game. But the fact that it's gotten this far down the road, and that the politicians in Indiana who don't seem to be able to really do anything have been able to come together and make this happen in short order, I think is a credit to them and shows how serious they are about trying to get the Chicago Bears here over the state line. You know, Hammond is right there on the Illinois-Indiana state line. We call that area of the state the region. So Northwest Indiana, largely industrial and largely, you know, if Indiana's flyover country, the region is drive-through country. Like, you're not stopping there. You're just going on your way to get to Chicago. It's refineries and cornfields and things like that. So it'd be a huge coup for that area to get the Chicago Bears. And I think in a way, the tentacles of that, David, reach into central Indiana and Indianapolis as well as the state capital, because what benefits the state obviously benefits the city and the surrounding area too.
Okay, I'm glad you went there because that's where I want to go. And David and I have argued about this a little bit. Indianapolis has Big Ten championships. Indianapolis has Final Fours. They're not building a brand new stadium without the thought of getting Big Ten championships and Final Fours there. If that happens, does Indianapolis change their mind on how they feel about this venue?
You know, I don't think so. It's one of those like kind of cross the across the road when we get there, across the bridge when we get there type things, Mark, because it's hard to really know what the after effects of just. I'm assuming they would eventually land a Super Bowl, right? As all new stadiums get, so there'd be some. I don't know if FOMO is the right jealousy, right? Because I don't think the Super Bowl is ever going to come back here to Indianapolis until they end up building a stadium to replace Lucas Oil Stadium, because it's just tough for the northern cities. But it is far enough removed where I don't even necessarily think that it's a competition type thing. I mean, Hammond, Indiana is 3.5 hours from here. It's a hike. Columbus, Ohio is closer. Louisville is closer. Cincinnati is closer than Hammond, Indiana to Indianapolis. So I don't think it's being viewed in the State House as a direct competition thing. Okay, we got a stadium in Hampden. We got a state. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul here, right? I don't think it's being viewed that way. I think what the motivation for the State House, not only to, poke their friends over in Illinois, I think the motivation is to get some tourism and get some activity and get some economic development in an area that really has none. To compare it for your audience, I was trying to think of a comp, and I'm like, well, what if the Jaguars moved to Savannah, Georgia? But the thing is, people go to Savannah, Georgia. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are reasons to go to Savannah, whereas there's no reason really to go to, and I'm not trying to be mean, but there's no reason really to go to Hammond, Indiana. But now you put an NFL team there, and that changes.
Well, I grew up in Jersey, and I'm old enough to remember when the Giants moved across and that was the Swamp. And quite frankly, most of the area around it is still not great. They haven't even built a lot of hotels around Giants Stadium. They make you go elsewhere, 20, 30 minutes even to get your hotels. From what you've described, I mean, can Hammond, Indiana be built up? The Bears talked about an entertainment complex, bringing a Super Bowl and a national championship. I mean, if you just put a dome stadium in Hammond, Indiana, and not much else, I mean, is that enough?
Maybe. There's a lake, there's a casino, and there's a whole lot of land. So, it's Indiana, right? We have no mountains. Outside of that little corner that catches the lake, we pretty much have no water here. There are no geographic boundaries to the sprawl. So conceivably, you could build just about anything and have it be built out, because there really are no barriers to what that could look like. No physical barriers, that is. So I think that's the vision. I think that's the hope. But I'm not entirely sure if that is going to eventually be the reality, even if this Bears things happens for Hammond, Indiana.
All right, I want to switch gears. I want to talk about something that you really enjoy, and that's Purdue basketball. How painful was Tuesday? I'm a Michigan State alum, so trust me, I don't like Michigan at all. But man, are they good. And Mackey was rocking. They were ready, with Michigan playing both Purdue and Duke. You're like, okay, is Purdue going to get him? Is it the time to go get him? And Michigan came out on fire. It certainly seems that Michigan and Illinois, at least to me, and I've watched a lot of college hoop this year, Derek, but you're in Big Ten country. It seems like they're a class above the rest of the Big Ten teams. Purdue's good. Michigan State good. Nebraska's good. Wisconsin on their best day can be pretty darn good. But they ain't Michigan, are they?
Yeah, no, I think they are in their own tier. They're big everywhere. They can shoot everywhere, and they're just impossible to guard. And I think Purdue is one of the 8 to 10 best teams in the country, but that's a clear divide and a clear tier below where Michigan is. Michigan's doing this to just about everybody, so I guess that's what helps Purdue fans sleep at night a little bit. But guys, here's a Purdue team that entered the year preseason number 1. They had Iowa State at home. They had Illinois at home. They had Michigan at home, and they lost all 3 of those games. And that's not to say that they don't have good wins. They won at Nebraska, and they routed Texas Tech back when they still had JT Toppin on a neutral court. But for the most part, that's pretty disappointing for fans here to be. If you're preseason number 1 and then you finish 3rd in the Big Ten and go to the Elite 8, that season's a disappointment. So I think that's what fans are grappling with here. But this is about as good as the top of the Big Ten has been as I can remember. I mean, you probably have to go back to like the Evan Turner, Thad Matta, Ohio State teams, plus Trey Burke in Michigan. like that era of Big Ten basketball. You know, when Tom Crean had Indiana cooking for like 2 years, like early teens, 20 teens, I think was the last time that the top of the league was this good.
Derek Schultz, ISC Sports Network, also does work with the Colts and Purdue. You can follow him on X. It's Schultz975, Schultz975. We've always kind of joked that the SEC was a strange animal because if their team can't win it, they're fine with someone else in the conference winning it so that they can chant SEC, SEC. I'm just curious, since it's been 25 years since Mateen Cleaves and a Big Ten team has cut down the nets, all right, can Purdue and the other Big Ten teams get around, hey, you know what? Fine. If Michigan's got to win it, damn it, we need to cut down the nets. It's been 25 years.
I can tell you this. You're not going to get a single person in the state of Ohio that's going to say that.
Well, I understand.
Right? Yeah. But, you know, guys, because here in Big Ten country, we've become just such a college football powerhouse. I don't know if we're really worried about basketball. I mean, we own the country as far as football is concerned. So basketball is just kind of over here in the corner, and whatever they do, they do. But we're just flexing our muscle here in the Midwest when it comes to college football.
Especially in the state of Indiana. But you definitely see where basketball would become an afterthought. Absolutely.
It's amazing what Kurt Signetti has done to change.
It's incredible.
And not just Indiana, because that national championship, the Big Ten, you know, I don't think, you know, Michigan State fan doesn't give a damn about Michigan. I don't think, you know, Purdue fan gives a damn about Michigan, and I know they're rivals with Indiana, but Indiana doing it changes everybody's mindset. It's now, if they can do it, we can do it, right?
Yeah, and it was hard not to jump on board with that story, right? I'm actually an IU alum. I now work for Purdue, which is a weird dynamic in my life. But yeah, I was in that stadium 20 years ago when there were 150 people, it felt like, in the entire thing, and they're losing by 40 points to Penn State. So yeah, everybody, I feel bad for college football coaches. I know they're paid handsomely, but now everybody's going to be expected, hey, this guy did this. Why can't you do it as well? But I do think Indiana's gigantic alumni base, activating that, it's the largest in the country. I don't know how many people realize that until last month. They had some advantages that, you know, like Iowa or somebody like that just doesn't have. But they really tapped into those, and they deserve credit for that.
You mentioned you don't think Indianapolis is ever going to get another Super Bowl until they get a new stadium, which I have to admit, I mean, that setup is spectacular. You can be at a nearby hotel and not even walk outside and get into the stadium. So the weather really doesn't have to be much of an element. But how about this? How much longer do you think you're going to have the combine until they move that sucker out to LA, because the NFL owns everything out in LA? I mean, that would concern me first about the NFL. Are we going to lose the combine?
Indianapolis has, and people don't, realize the fact that how big the medical aspect of the combine is. Indianapolis has some infrastructure set up that a lot of other places don't have. In fact, only a few have it, and LA is probably one of them. But as you guys know about LA, anybody that's been to LA, it's a lot more of a hassle to get around in LA than it is in Indianapolis. So, my answer to that has always been, they've been talking for 7-8 years now about the combine leaving, and it still hasn't left. So, if it was going to leave, wouldn't it have left by now? I think they're realizing how good they have it in Indianapolis with that setup. And I think everybody's happy with the way that it is right now. But, they've got the draft. They've got these other things that they can take on the road as well that they can tap into.
Is it a must to re-sign Daniel Jones? Is that because that's what happened to the Giants? The Giants felt they had, and they caved and they gave him everything he asked for. Is that the feeling in Indianapolis, or are you willing to take a chance on someone else?
The team is talking about it like it's a fait accompli. I mean, they're already mentioning him in their 2026 plan, so they better re-sign Daniel Jones. I mean, they have no other options, David. I mean, they got nothing else going on. They have no first-round draft pick. They dealt it for Sauce Gardner, right? The veteran QB market is mm-hmm. It's basically the same guys as last year, right? It's going to be Jones. It's going to be Rodgers. If you really like Malik Willis, I guess you could jump in there. But I think the Colts were pretty happy with the first half of the season from Daniel Jones. They felt like he really fit in Shane Steichen's offense. But coming off an Achilles, man, it's a big if that he can regain his form and be the player that he was, and again, 8, 9, 10 weeks, that's a very small sample size. I mean, 2022, looking back on it, when he had success with the Giants, that looked like a massive fluke considering the rest of his time there.
All right, Pierce. I mean, he's one of the highly touted free agents. Are they planning on keeping him, or is that just a point that he's gone?
Yeah, that's another one that they're going to do everything that they can to keep. He's become their number one receiver, Mark. He's become a dynamic playmaker, which the Colts really have lacked. I mean, when you look at the Colts, like the post Andrew Luck Colts, even in a way, the post Peyton Manning Colts, they just don't have dynamic playmakers on either side. I mean, for all the talk about Peyton Manning, the Colts had Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Dallas Clark and Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis and Bob Sanders and all these guys that were game-changing type talents on both sides of the ball. And they just don't have that anymore. Like no defensive coordinators staying up at night thinking to myself, man, how do I stop Michael Pittman Jr.? You know, nobody's thinking that. So I think Alec Pierce can grow into being that guy more consistently, and they're trying to go for it here. They've got a general manager entering year 10 who has won one playoff game. So they need to keep the talent that they do have on board.
Derek, thanks for doing this with us again. We really appreciate it. We hope things are going well for you. Enjoy the rest of the college hoop season, and maybe we could talk around the draft.
Yeah, same to you guys. And if you want to hit me up in September to talk college football, we're happy to do that up here in Big Ten country too.
I love it.
Man, you're like the comedian that's worked on your material, and you got it down.
I thought about this all day, man.
Derek Schultz, ISC Network. Follow him on X at Schultz975, Schultz975. Derek, all the best. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Derek joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Football country there in Indiana, David. Football country.
Deadpan delivery. He delivered those lines with authority and great timing. Good for him.
Miller and Moulton, the Diamond District bonus hour. That's what we do next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
At the Diamond District, we believe more is more.
More diamonds, more selection, more fire. You truly can have it all.
During our Diamond event, March 6th through 8th.
Layered bracelets, dazzling earrings, statement rings. Because when it comes to diamonds, more is more.
Then leave drenched in diamonds, March 6th through 8th. Only at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey, Southwest Florida, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. For you that haven't tried us yet, you gotta get in here and try my favorite 5 Chicago-style sandwiches. I got the Italian beef, I got the Italian sausage, the sausage and beef, the Maxwell Street Polish, and our soon-to-be famous breaded steak. Call us at either one of our locations in Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I don't know if that's just I think that's just a plus though. I think the magnesium,
so
I think the magnesium is done, and she said it for a lot more time.
Yeah.
Than need be, because she knew she didn't want my alarm.
Yeah. So I'm happy I was sitting out there. So I'm like, on.
Thank you.
Hey, could a nurse come in here to unhook him? Thank you. Sorry, I was. Hello. Yeah, I think Monty is. Okay. No. Let me get to it. Thank you.
Yeah, Summer did it before she left. Because I set your alarm at like 7 hours.
Good plan.
Okay, works for me. I've been used to it going off every morning.
Yeah. $132. Toss all these drinks for you. I'll pop in your restroom. And is there anything I can get for you?
No, I'm good.
Hello.
Good morning. Wonderful.
Mr. Overachiever.
I know.
Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love that. What are those? Coffee? Oh, it's drinks.
2 coffees, 2 waters.
Beautiful. Good night last night?
Yeah.
Super. Taking your 5-minute break?
Yeah.
So let's do this. Any bowel movements this morning?
Nope.
All right. Not sugar after 10 for your little morning meds.
Okay.
Mouth doing a
Yeah, Sonny, Derek was terrific. The reason I took you down was
Yeah, I thought I turned my mic off. My bad.
no, I just so Buck Spotter, Bill, he's in Cairo. Guess I'll save on that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the final hour of our week. It's the Diamond District bonus hour on this Friday. Probably be the last show that Mark does from the Moffitt Cancer Center, because I guess things are going so well. They're kicking them out a few days early to move first to a hotel and then to where he is. He's going to set up shop for about 9-10 weeks. And so That's awesome news. It's great that things are going so well. And not only that, you're going to get real food here very soon, which
Oh my goodness.
I know your morale.
Tear in my eye, David. Former greenskeeper about to become the Masters champion.
Yeah, look at that. Never go wrong with a little Caddyshack. Another 45-year-old reference, ladies and gentlemen, here on Miller and Moulton. I am doing this to celebrate one of your great beliefs. And I know you'll think a little bit of Trent, and I think Rick Church is on your side on this one as well. So I just got a text from a buddy of mine. He and his wife are in Egypt. And he's in an airport lounge. Now, first off, there's one person sitting in that lounge besides him. And there are 4 pictures on the wall. And the guy sitting on the couch looks exactly like the 4 guys on, because it's the same person on the wall, the 4 pictures. He looks exactly like the guy on the wall. So the first thing I said to him is, you got to ask the guy if he's the guy on the wall. But he sent the text out to a few of us because, Mark, there's one TV in the airport lounge in Cairo. And it has an American movie on it right now. What movie? That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, you're damn right it's Rocky.
What do you mean you're damn right it's Rocky? It's Cairo, Egypt, 50 years after they made the damn thing.
I don't know what to tell you, David.
I know.
Rocky is a world language.
I just, for as much as I'm a big fan of 1 and 2. The others, I think, are every bit as bad as Godfather 3 to the originals. I just do. But
I don't know how you can think that about 3. And even 4. I mean,
really? 4?
Clubber Lang? Are you kidding me?
No. He was 3. Okay. Right. 4.
Yeah, Living in America? James Brown?
No, I'm not. Listen, the music in the Rocky movies was always great. The soundtracks were always terrific.
I mean, you got Drago. You got him you're getting shot up, working with the best equipment that the world has to offer an athlete at that point. In rocks, pulling sleds and cutting logs. I mean, what the hell?
How ironic, because it was Stallone doing steroids for 30 plus years, okay, and we pinned it on the Russians.
I mean, outrunning the KGB or trying to watch him train because he can get through the snow better than the Mercedes. What the hell, David? It's cinematic. It's cinematic greatness, is what it is.
The Mercedes with the chains on the tires couldn't go through the snow, and it was snow, by the way, that was like thigh deep. But Rocky was faster going through the snow than the car was.
You're damn right he was.
Right.
You know why?
Chains on the tires.
Because he was Rocky.
Apparently so. And just want you to know, 50 years later, the original Rocky, the fight was just about ready to begin. It was the overhead shot of the ring was on the TV screen when he took the picture. Okay.
And now it escapes me. Who's the announcer? Because he was an actual announcer.
Yes. Well, our buddy Warner Wolf also was ringside.
Right.
All right. Yeah. But come on, Rocky 4, seriously? Okay, and then he wins the fight, which was hokey to begin with, and then he gives the speech to the Russians, okay, basically saying, hey, listen to me, okay, change the way you do things. If you can change, we can change. If we can change,
you can change.
Right.
And we can change. We all can change.
Right. I mean, seriously?
I mean, David, at that moment in time, peace had come over he ended the Cold War by himself.
Well, first off, at that moment in time, I think Reagan had just said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. We weren't quite there yet.
And would we have ever gotten there without Rocky? I think not.
I think Reagan was a bigger figure, but okay. All right.
You know what Reagan got from Rocky? He got the kahunas to do it. He can't utter those words without Rock.
Well, Peggy Noonan would not have written, if yous can change, we's can change. You're right. Okay. Peggy Noonan would not have written that. 40 years ago. There's no doubt about it. But I just thought
I know you
would
love our
like-
country, David. I know you are a patriot and you're very American. You are as American as anybody I know. You love the United States of America.
I do.
This is just an area where you're wrong. Okay.
No, this is
because
about-
I don't want to call you unpatriotic because that would be slanderous and inaccurate. But David, you are wrong here. Okay.
Apparently so. Apparently, I am the only person in Western civilization, and not even Western civilization, obviously. But I just think there's a clear line of demarcation between Rockies 1 and 2 and the rest. That's all. The rest are schlocky. Okay. The rest are, the first two were solid. Really
when he caught the chicken in 2, I watched it at the Court Theater in Saginaw. My babysitter for the summer was a guy by the name of Mike Ellis. He was my dad's co-worker's son. And Mike took me to see Rocky 2. And when he catches the chicken, and we're at the matinee, and it's a young audience, so it's
grease lightning.
The place went nuts.
Right.
I mean, nuts. They went more nuts when Rocky caught the chicken than when I was in high school. And we won in, when Tom Cruise is shooting down fighter jets, for crying out loud.
But that was Rocky 2.
I understand that.
It's like, talking about the Godfather series and mentioning Godfather 3. It's like, no, I don't even want to say that that's in the same. No, come on. Just put it over there. Just don't bring that anywhere near here. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, it literally in the last 20 minutes over in Cairo, Egypt, one TV screen in the airport lounge, and the American movie that is on it is 50 years old, and it's Rocky. There you go.
I feel good.
I knew you would.
I couldn't buck up, and I probably should have. For a while, the shorts were popping up on a few different social feeds that I have.
Okay.
The red, white, and blue shorts. And I was going to buy them, not for me, but for Trent. And they were about $100. And I'm like, I am not spending $90 on a pair of shorts. So I probably should have. I might even do it today as a long lost parting gift to Trent. I mean, here's Trent. Think about it. Trent's 26 years old.
Right.
These movies all happened before he was born.
Yes.
And he can quote the movies.
Well,
that's iconic.
Listen, maybe Rocky 3 is a little better than I give it consideration. We do have people in the chat rooms who are quoting Clubber Lang, otherwise known as Mr. T. So, all right. This is a hell of a 24 hours, as is pointed out again by Paula in the Twitch chat room. So we have Rocky playing in Cairo right now in prime time on, I don't know how many channels they have, but Rocky is the primetime movie on, the big channel in Cairo right now. And a United States figure skater won a gold medal last night to MacArthur Park in Italy.
Right.
This is a hell of a dynamic we got going on in the last 18 hours. I'm just saying.
You have to be a longtime listener of Miller and Moulton, but I know for a fact there was a time that we read the lyrics to that song read them because it's so bad. I left my cake out in the rain, and I don't know if I'll ever have that recipe again.
Right.
Because it took so long to bake it. I don't think I can make it.
And we'll never have that recipe again. Oh,
and that's what the young lady won gold medal.
Oh, no.
To last night.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yes. By the way, I will say for another song that achieved, I believe number 1, the lyrics for Sitting on the Dock of the Bay are pretty simple too. I mean, they're like half a level above Green Eggs and Ham.
Oh, absolutely. And the irony of it is the song was really never done. There was a last verse and he dies and they released the song posthumously with him just kind of skedating there at the end.
Right.
The whistling, I mean, that's what they had, but They everything you read that there was supposed to be another verse to that song. It's the tune, David. Sometimes you can just pull it off. And Donna Summer was able to pull off MacArthur Park a lot better than Richard Harris was, David.
Yes, she
and
was.
Stu Nahan was the announcer I was thinking
There
of.
you go.
Who was but I mean, he was a big time announcer.
He was, yes. All right. That was in the old LA arena where the
sports
Clippers,
arena, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Where they first played when they moved up from San Diego. Yeah. That's where that got filmed. So I just thought you should know that it would restore your faith. Things are going well for you these days. You're going to get out in the next 24 or so hours, real food. Okay. But American culture, alive and well in Cairo, Egypt, in prime time. The movie for everyone to watch tonight is Rocky.
Can solve a lot of problems, David. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know about Rocky. I don't know what problems we were solving with
No,
Rocky.
you're probably right because, and you talk about music with the Frank Stallone, like doo-wop, take it back, do, take it back.
Yep.
What am I going to do for music? Hey, bro, how about you sing a song for us? That's what we'll go with. Budget isn't big around here.
Right. What's the number one song in America? Bill Conti. It's the instrumental from Rocky. Play it. Cue it up on AM radio. Back with Skinnerd in Boston after this.
I did see already a video of the golden goal by the U.S. women's Olympic team set to Freebird. That tells you what the Olympics will do, because nothing like a band from Jacksonville, Florida, who all died before 1980,
right,
being a soundtrack for the golden goal in the 2026 game.
I think it's an indictment of music in the 21st century. I do, but that's just me. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I watched this earlier. It's great.
So if the Southwest Florida ESPN app won't work, oh, you're both not there. So we go Twitch app, YouTube app. Is there anywhere else? See, I know the 1070 in Port Charlotte carries it on the iHeart app, but that's 6 to 9. And excuse me, Mark.
I did see that Deadstroke. Yes.
If someone's been listening via the Southwest Florida ESPN app, did you recommend?
I recommended the
Twitch?
Twitch, YouTube, and the iHeart app.
Now, does iHeart carry us for all 4 hours? Because I know 1070.
Oh, they might. They probably only carry us for 3. You're probably right.
Because I know 1070 the Zone's an iHeart station, and they carry our show 6 to 9.
Right. That's why they probably only carry us to 9, because that's how I listen, is through that station's app, which is an iHeart app. Trent was all fired up yesterday, texted me about the Ludington and Macker reference. He was all fired up. Thought that was phenomenal.
It's funny. He doesn't send any of that stuff to me.
Well, I think he was doing the podcast, and he's like, and he listens. He's like, "Is Ludington? That's the first ever Ludington reference on Miller and Moulton." Slovakia's goalie, I was just reading about him during one of the breaks. He plays for Iowa in the A. He's part of the Wild's organization.
Huh.
They're one of the worst teams in the A. His numbers are pretty bad in the league, but they apparently suck. And he's not really part of the Wild's future of what their goalies are.
Right.
And it's like he's going to be a free agent this year. And it's like,
he could make himself a job.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
We're not quite at the point where we're turning for home, but we're close. The Diamond District bonus hour, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Our poll question, and we haven't promoted it much, and we probably should have. So if the Bears go to Hammond, Indiana, who are you blaming? You blaming the Bears or you blaming the state of Illinois? And between 75 and 80% of you are like, oh, Illinois. It's their fault. Okay. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X.
By the way, go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to ask you one question off of this. If you were Goodell, Not to say that certain franchises aren't more important than others, but certain franchises are more important than others. If you were Goodell, would you make a phone call and just
No,
say,
I don't think you can. I'm
Well-
sorry. You can't tell them you need to take a worse deal than the Kansas City Chiefs took, than this team took, than that team took. No. Your job as Roger Goodell's job is to work for the owners, not the other way around.
I understand it's also his job to work for the league as a whole. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying call up and tell them you can't do it. Of course they can do it. They own the business. They can do whatever they want. Okay. And the courts have ruled that the NFL can't stop them. But I'm just wondering, if you were Goodell, do you call the Bears and go, listen, I get it. Okay. Illinois sucks. We can agree on that. Okay. We don't like everything about their government right now. Right. They should have never allowed it to come to this. Can you do me a favor, though? Can you leverage Indiana to the hilt and give it one more college try to go to Arlington Heights? Because we really would prefer Arlington Heights to Hammond. Could you just don't close the door on Illinois, but shove Hammond, Indiana where they need to be shoved?
I don't think that he will. And this is where, I'm sorry, and I hate doing this because David and I don't like going here, but this is where the mix of politics and sports is real. Indiana is a red state.
Mm-hmm.
Illinois is a blue state.
Mm-hmm.
What side do you think Roger Goodell's on?
I have no doubts what side he's on.
So, I mean,
Okay, but this is about the league. It's not about the political makeup of a state. This is, if you're running the NFL, what is better for the league? For the Bears to be in Arlington Heights or Hammond, Indiana? That's all. And I think it is difficult to make the case that it would be better for the league for the team to be in Hammond, Indiana. I'm not saying we're not going to stop you. Okay, you could do the deal this weekend. We're not going to stop you. We're going to be there. We're going to applaud. We're going to do nothing but pat you on the back publicly. Could you just take Hammond, Indiana's offer and go to Illinois and say, you got an hour. Make your best counteroffer.
well, there's part of me that thinks that that was already done. And when the Bears called and told Illinois not even to vote on it, this had already been worked out.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. I was just wondering if it's something worthy of a phone call. Because the other thing is, I can see the entertainment district being built in Arlington Heights. It's also right next to O'Hare. It's really close to O'Hare. It's convenient as hell to come in if you're thinking Super Bowls and anything else. That's all. Just wondering. Just wondering.
I got you. Hockey starts here in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Emily Kaplan reported about an hour ago that we still don't have a decision. I don't think Sidney Crosby's playing, but they have not ruled Crosby out for today's game. Now, I don't think he's playing, but just something to keep an eye on, whether Sidney Crosby is playing today for Canada or as people are trying to say, this is then the transition to McDavid. Is it the transition to McDavid or is it the transition to Celebrini?
I think it's a little bit of a leap to go right to Celebrini because I think it's not just McDavid, isn't it? McKinnon and McCarr.
I got you. No, I got you. All I'm saying is the way that Celebrini is playing in these games. McDavid will play in one. If they keep playing in the Olympics, McDavid's probably playing in one more Olympics. He would be the captain next time. I'm not even denying that. But the kid that's the future of the sport, the 19-year-old,
right,
and the way he's playing right now,
yeah,
he's not wearing a C if they're doing this again in 2030. I get it.
Right. He's wearing
But
an
by
A.
the time 2030 comes around, he's the best player in the game.
Ooh. That's an interesting $20 bet. 4 years from now, better player, not who you take, because obviously there's
You
a
take the younger guy, 23
10, 11
versus,
year age difference, right? But very interesting. 4 years from now, who's the better player? Would that be 33-year-old Connor McDavid?
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Because Celebrini's 19, he doesn't turn 20 till June.
Yeah,
So
he's 20. He's 29. He just turned 29 in January, so he will be 33
right
in the next Olympic Games.
It'll be 33-year-old McDavid versus 23-year-old Celebrini. At that moment in time, who's the better player?
And by the way, you guys that are throwing Connor Bedard out there, until Connor Bedard starts learning how to get to the tough areas to score goals, don't bring him up. Okay?
Listen, I don't even think he's better than the kid on the Islanders. And he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a franchise player. But of the recent kids who are quote-unquote franchise player, I think I'd vote him third.
Yeah. Snyder would be Snyder, right?
Schneider, right.
Snyder, yeah. It'd be Celebrini, Snyder, and then Bedard.
Now, listen, everybody's got one more game after today. Obviously, if you lose, though, it's the bronze medal game. So does that make a difference if you're Canada and you say to Sid, we need you for Sunday?
Oh, I think so. That's why I brought it up. I don't think he's playing. I wouldn't play him. I wouldn't take the chance. I want him as healthy as I can get him, and I want him for the gold medal game.
By the way, didn't you think the officiating in that game was bad? I mean, first off,
you mean missing the too many men on the ice call against Canada?
Right, which allowed them to score the go-ahead goal 3-2. No, but I mean, the one hit that started Crosby's demise, that's interference. He didn't have the puck. He's skating through the middle of the ice. The guy, of course he's not expecting to get hit. You can't hit him. And he got plastered, which, I understand we're getting pretty deep in the tournament and the whole deal. But that was one of I was kind of hoping, Cooper was going to say to Tom Wilson, you know what to do. I mean, come on now. They are intentionally beating the tar out of Sidney Crosby.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Here's the thing you don't have to worry about today, David. They're playing Finland.
Right.
Finland isn't beating anybody up.
No,
they don't play that way. They can't play that way. Now, in the U.S. game versus Slovakia, totally different story.
Right. You may have to
totally different story.
You may have to send a Kachuk brother.
Well, and I actually think the U.S. team's more physical than the Canadian team. I think the Canadian team's far better. It's the only way. If the U.S. is able to win today,
right,
they are going to have to win with the forecheck. They are going to have to win by punishing the Canadian defensemen and trying to get pucks that way. But semifinals today, if they do meet, it's Sunday morning, 8:30. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day when, and what's on tap? That's next.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Bud, you may be right. I'm just telling you that if you don't think the president and Goodell talk, I think you'd be crazy. And I think it's part of it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not that smart. But this president really likes sports and has used sports a lot to help his image, whether you like him or not. I mean, he just got done playing golf with Urban Meyer and Nick Saban.
And Ron DeSantis.
I mean,
and by the way, I meant to bring this up. It's why, did you see who Trump sat down with and did an interview with yesterday at the Varsity? Josh Pate.
Yeah. Right. I mean, we don't mix the two, but when they have to be mixed, we're paying attention. And we very rarely do it on the show. It has never been our MO, and it never will be. All right, I hate Trent even more. So I sent him a text. It just said, need your address and short size. Size small. Size small.
By the way, Hockey Canada just say Crosby's out.
Okay, I figured as much.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get through a segment, David.
No. I'm updating you, David DeMark. I don't. And you're McDavid the C, McCarr, McKinnon the A's.
I've been working the last half hour during every break getting Pat stone crabs.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Pat and he didn't answer. And I text Pat and he didn't answer. And I text him again and he just now answered. I'll be there at noon. Okay, that's all I needed to know, Pat. Adult small. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yesterday. Sat down. By the way, apparently the interview is all about college football.
Yeah.
I'm just letting the Twitch chat room know. He didn't go off his territory. Sonny, yeah, most absolutely. I mean, did you see the U.S. women's hockey team?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. This is it. Final segment of the week. Mark is moving out of Moffat on Monday.
I'll be at the hotel on Monday. I'll be at the Embassy Suites on Monday for you, David.
There you go. And then his quote-unquote permanent housing will be the latter part of next week, and that's where he'll be for probably about a 9 to 10 week run into very early May. And so it's just awesome. I know we've tried to keep it light. You and I on air, but it's very heartwarming.
It is, man. Thank you.
How well this is going for you?
Thanks, my man. Thanks, my man. I was called an overachiever by the nurses today. That's not something that's frequently said about me.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
MIT was founded as the first architectural college in 1865. The Hudson Motor Car Company, founded in Detroit today in 1909 by the retailer Hudson, Joseph Hudson. The Toronto arenas are permitted to cease operations due to financial difficulties today in 1919. They would become the St. Patrick's and now the Maple Leafs. David, today in 1922, WORAM begins radio transmissions. 104 years ago today. The Red Sox announced today in 1929 that they will play their Sunday games at Braves Field because Fenway Park is too close to a church.
Wow.
We had a bad day yesterday with the encampment of the Japanese Americans. This one, it's not as bad in totality, but from a look standpoint, David, is this as bad? Because today in 1939, at Madison Square Garden, a pro-Nazi rally was held. There were 20,000 people there.
Correct. That's sold out, ladies and gentlemen. That's the original. That's the original MSG. And yes.
Yeah.
But
John Glenn. Sorry.
Well, no, think about it, though. The way we do things, they applied for the permits. They got the permits, First Amendment. And
but 20,000 sold out for a pro-Nazi rally at the Madison Square Garden. This is like 6 months before Hitler invades Poland. I mean, just for what it's worth. Thank goodness, as a country, we changed our mind.
Yes,
but
we did.
It needs to be noted. Today in 1962, John Glenn becomes the first American to orbit Earth aboard Friendship number 7.
Boy, we were moving quickly, right? I mean, it was only the year before that Kennedy said, hey, come on, hop to it.
1971, Espo, the quickest to score 50 in a season.
Jesus saves, but Espo scores on the rebound.
Today in 1972, A.J. Foyt wins by 2 laps at the Daytona 500. And also today in 1974, this is my band. This is really for me. Steely Dan releases Pretzel Logic. It's their 3rd album. They're amazing. And also in 1974, Gordie Howe comes out of retirement for $1 million to play with the Houston Aeros of the WHA. 1977, Cale Yarborough wins his 2nd Great American Race. Janet Guthrie, first female NASCAR Cup driver. I think a lot of people remember her being in the Indy 500.
Right.
She finished 12th in that race. That's impressive to me because, trust me, they didn't want her there.
No.
I mean, this isn't Danica. This is Janet Guthrie in 1977.
Oh, I don't know how much they wanted Danica either.
Yeah, but it was a different world, and they weren't allowed to be as nasty as these guys were to her.
True.
'83, Yarborough wins again. I bring it up only because it was the first time an in-car camera goes to victory lane before a national audience on CBS. I think that's pretty impressive. In-car cameras in '83.
Oh,
I mean, the technology that NASCAR brought to the rest of sports really isn't recognized as well as it should be.
No, not at all.
Brian Bottano wins gold in figure skating today in '88 on a show we reference by name. Well, not by name, by saying cities the way that we do. It was today in '92 that Ross Perot announces he's running for president on Larry King Live.
Yes, he did.
The Marlins opened their first spring training camp today in '93. Tara Lipinski becomes the youngest gold medalist in figure skating history today in '88 at the age of 15, winning the gold medal at Nagano.
98, but I know what you mean.
Oh, 90. I'm sorry. What did I said? 93. I'm looking at the year before. 98.
No, you said 88. I just want people to.
98. My bad. I'm all over the place. Jeff Gordon wins his third Daytona today in '05. And Beyonce becomes the first Black female artist to top the Billboard's Hot Country Songs with their country single, Texas Hold'em. Ansel Adams. If you're my age, somebody near you had a poster of an Ansel Adams picture in their dorm room. It was a girl, but you thought it was cool because she had it in her room. Gloria Vanderbilt, Sidney Poitier, Bobby Unser, Jay Giles, Walter Becker from Steely Dan, and Kurt Cobain would have all celebrated birthdays today. Roger Penske's 89. Mitch McConnell is 84. So is Phil Esposito, and still doing games for the Lightning. Charles Barkley is 63. Sidney Crawford is 60. Justin Verlander, 43. Rihanna is 38. And Olivia Rodrigo is 23. What did I miss, David?
Big day today, 41 years ago in Ireland.
I saw this and I didn't put it in.
They allowed the sale of contraceptives for the first time in Ireland today in '85. An 83-80 vote amongst the, legislature or whatever you would call it. And so beginning today, if you're over 18 at pharmacies, all right, you could get condoms and spermicides without a prescription. All right. 1985. They defied the Catholic Church in Ireland.
All I'm thinking of, and I don't know which Monty Python movie it is, it might be The Meaning of Life, when the couple's in bed and they just you hear all the kids in the background. Well, they've let me use these little rubber things, and they just keep having kids. It's all I can think of when you said that. And yesterday when I saw it, that's all I was thinking of.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to North Carolina for the good today, where Rutherford County Sheriff's Office got a call about a break-in. Turned out the break-in was a pig. As they call it, bacon and entering, suspect taken into custody. The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office post on Facebook says, after a short standoff involving a pack of crackers and some highly questionable negotiations, deputies successfully convinced the sus-pig-us individual to surrender. She was taken into custody without further incident and transferred to the animal control. The owner of the pig has now been located. For the bad, we go to Connecticut, where a pair of wild turkeys went after a UPS driver. A video posted on TikTok shows the UPS driver luring the turkeys to the side of his truck so he could evade them to make his package delivery. However, as he goes to grab another package, yelling at the turkeys to back up, you can hear the driver say, and I'm sorry for this, Jesus Christ, I'm 40 years old. I can't be dealing with this, as the turkeys are chasing him down the road. Finally, the ugly. This is something. We go to Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, where paramedics had loaded a patient into an ambulance. when a bystander jumped into the driver's seat, forcing the paramedics to hop off for their own safety as the ambulance sped away. Lights flashing. The ambulance headed out of Wisconsin Rapids, swerving around tire deflection devices and going over dirt roads at a landfill before finally reaching the highway. 20 minutes later, a tire finally deflated, causing it to swerve off the road. When the Wood County Sheriff's Department said, "Come out with your hands in the air and surrender," the man came out. Not only were his hands up, there was nothing on him. He was stark naked. And Benjamin Phelps of Nakusa was arrested on a litany of charges, David, and wait for it, including his third offense of driving while intoxicated.
Unreal.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, February the 20th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, hiring new officers, great pay, benefits, overtime, other jobs are available. CapeCops.com, CapeCops.com.
So Canada's semifinal is in a little less than an hour. The U.S.'s semifinal is 3:10 Eastern, which is after 9 o'clock at night. I'm telling you, the U.S. has been complaining. They feel it's affected their rest. They hate playing after 9 o'clock start times. All right, over in Italy, and the Olympic Committee keeps going, "Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. You're playing at 9 o'clock." So, Canada at 10:40, the U.S. at 3:10. No system plays tonight in college hoops. There is Indiana at Purdue. Obviously, a rivalry. That's 8 o'clock on Big Fox. So here's the deal tomorrow. There will be, it looks like 5 system plays. The lines aren't all out yet, but if I had to wager, I'd say there will be 5 system plays. But tomorrow, the top 4 teams in the country are all playing each other. 3 o'clock ABC, Arizona, Houston. But 6:30, 4-letter network, Michigan, Duke, 1-3. Michigan just a 2.5-point favorite. Don't you have to pound the Wolverines?
I think so. Big week, though. They already pounded Purdue.
I know.
Now having to play Duke, but this is a neutral site game. This isn't at Cameron.
Right.
I think Michigan will have the crowd advantage because I don't think Duke has a crowd advantage anywhere but Cameron.
Did you hear, by the way, that Michigan has already told the NCAA committee, hey, if we're the number 1 overall seed, we want Philadelphia for the first 2 rounds. And I know you're looking geographically, and I think because Detroit, I think, is one of the rounds for one of the sites for the first 2 rounds. And they said, no, we want Philly. And then we want Chicago. So, usually the number 1 seed, it's one of the perks. They say, here are the places you could go. Which one do you want? And Michigan, because of their national alumni, Michigan's like, put us in Philly, rounds 1 and 2. And then you can put us in Chicago. We're fine with that. So that's tomorrow. College hoops.
By the way, it's getting late early in curling. U.S. down 4-3 in the women's semifinal.
All right.
Another great game tomorrow night in college hoop, by the way, under the radar, but Iowa State's at BYU late. That's a good game.
Gators in action tomorrow. I think they're at Ole Miss.
They are.
NBA tonight. Heat are in Atlanta. I think Miami's the 8 and Atlanta's the 9 right now in the East. They're separated by 3 games in the loss column. And but it's a big NBA night because the league resumed action last night.
So there you have it. Couple of semifinal games today. Will we get Canada and the U.S. Sunday morning at 8:30? We'll find out by the time you get home from work or by the time you're sitting down for dinner. Hopefully you can sneak out a little early and catch the 3rd period if you're working all day. But a 3 o'clock start for the U.S. against Slovakia.
By the way, for Rick Church tonight, I know what he'll be doing. The first game of the ESPN NBA doubleheader is Mavs at T-Wolves. And then it's an all LA nightcap, Clippers Lakers. So,
Rick, thanks for a great week. Amazing job. We expect nothing else. You strive on perfection. You were so pissed at yourself 2 weeks ago that I know you take it personally, even though we didn't give a damn.
Always my pleasure, fellas.
and the check arrived already, so he got paid. So,
and I still showed up today. So you're welcome.
Well played. Well
That's
played.
outstanding.
Raj will be with us next week as we bounce back and forth. I'm out of the hospital by Monday and fired up about that. But told I was an overachiever. That's really never happened much in my life, certainly not in school. Miller and Moulton, have a terrific weekend. Enjoy the hockey today. Let's hope like hell we get Canada and U.S. on Sunday morning. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll be back Monday morning, 6 a.m. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Get ready, Southwest Florida. The Southwest Florida Ag Expo is back. Now's the time to save big with the Mega Pass. Your all-in-one ticket to the fun, one low price. Get your one-day admission and unlimited midway